Hi everyone, welcome to Cartoonology. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're looking at 3 hours of SpongeBob religion lore to fall asleep to. We're covering 12 topics about supernatural beings, ghostly rules, and belief systems that appear throughout the series. These aren't fan theories. They're based on actual episodes and what happens on screen. But before we begin, I'd just like to kindly ask you all to subscribe. It's completely free and it really helps us improve the videos for this wonderful community we've managed to build. Anyway, that's enough. Let's begin. The Flying Dutchman's Ghost System. The Flying Dutchman is a real ghost who enforces ghost rules in Bikini Bottom. He's not made up. He's not a legend characters tell stories about. He actually exists as a supernatural being with his own ghost ship. He can turn living characters into ghosts. He can force them to serve him forever. He can haunt people. He works outside normal Bikini Bottom rules. The show treats him as genuinely supernatural across multiple episodes. Understanding how he works shows a consistent ghost system built into the show's world. Ghosts appear in lots of cartoons. Usually they're just for laughs. They show up for Halloween episodes. They scare characters for laughs. Then everything goes back to normal. The ghost was probably fake, or it was just someone in a costume trying to scare people. The show explains it away with a simple reveal. SpongeBob handles ghosts completely differently. The Flying Dutchman is real every time he appears. Characters know he's real. They've met him before. He remembers them from previous encounters. He has ongoing relationships with them. He's part of Bikini Bottom's reality, not a special one-time thing. He lives in this world forever and just happens to be dead and supernatural. He lives on a ghost ship floating above the city. He has a job. He has responsibilities. He has powers. He's as real as any other character in the show. The difference is, he's a ghost with abilities that break normal rules. The Flying Dutchman first shows up clearly in Shanghai. SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward board a mysterious ship floating above Bikini Bottom at night. They see it from below. It's glowing green. It looks spooky. They're curious. They want to explore. They climb aboard. The ship is the Flying Dutchman's ghost ship. It's massive. It's old-fashioned like a pirate ship. It's transparent and glowing. It looks like a real ghost ship from pirate stories. They look around the ship carefully. They find creepy things everywhere. Old pirate equipment, cobwebs, mysterious objects. Then, the Flying Dutchman himself appears suddenly. He's a giant ghost with a glowing green body. He has a long beard. He wears old pirate clothes. He's angry they're on his ship without permission. He says he's going to eat their souls. He's not joking around. The episode treats this as a real threat. He can actually do this. He has the power to consume souls like food. This is a really dark idea for a kids show, but it's shown clearly and like it's no big deal. The Dutchman explains the rules to them. He's going to eat their souls unless they give him a good reason not to. This is how things seem to work on his ship. If you board without permission, you face consequences. Soul eating is the punishment. SpongeBob tries to scare him to prove they're worthy. He makes faces. He tells ghost stories. The Dutchman isn't scared. Patrick tries next. He does silly things. The Dutchman gets annoyed. Squidward insults him directly. He mocks the Dutchman's appearance. This makes things worse. The Dutchman gets more angry. He's definitely going to eat their souls now. They've failed the test. Then SpongeBob remembers something. The Dutchman is bound by wish rules, apparently. If someone boards his ship, he has to grant them wishes before eating them. This is a set supernatural rule that controls his behavior. He has to follow it even when he's mad. SpongeBob makes a wish. He wishes they'd never met the Dutchman. Time rewinds instantly. Everything reverses. They're back where they started before boarding the ship, but they remember what happened. The ghost meeting was totally real. It affected them. They went through supernatural forces themselves. The Curse of Bikini Bottom shows the Dutchman's powers even more directly. SpongeBob and Patrick are playing in a graveyard at night. They're having fun. They find shaving cream. It's the Flying Dutchman's shaving cream. They don't know this. They start playing with it. They spray it everywhere. The Dutchman is sleeping nearby in his grave. They accidentally spray shaving cream on his face. Then they accidentally shave off his entire beard while he's sleeping. He wakes up immediately. He's furious. His beard is his pride. It's part of who he is as a scary ghost. Without it, he looks silly. Other ghosts will laugh at him. He can't show his face in public. He'll be embarrassed. So he curses SpongeBob and Patrick as punishment. He waves his hands. Green energy surrounds them. He turns them into ghosts right there. Not fake ghosts, real, actual ghosts. They become see-through and glowing green. They can float through the air. They can go through solid walls. They can't touch physical stuff anymore. Food falls through their hands when they try to grab it. They can't eat anything. They can't sleep in beds because they fall through. They're stuck as ghosts until the Dutchman's beard grows back. This could take forever. Beards grow slowly. Ghost beards might grow even slower. The episode shows them having a hard time living as ghosts. They try to go about normal activities but can't. Everything is harder. Simple tasks become impossible. They're stuck like this. The Dutchman keeps this curse going consistently. He doesn't forgive them easily. He's really angry. Eventually, his beard does grow back after what seems like days or weeks. He appears again. He waves his hands. He changes them back to normal. But the change was real the whole time. They were actually ghosts for that entire period. The curse actually worked. This shows clearly that the Dutchman has real magical power over life and death. He can change someone's basic state of being. He can change reality through curses. After these big episodes, the Flying Dutchman becomes a returning character who shows up regularly. He appears in Scaredy Pants during Halloween. SpongeBob dresses as a ghost to scare people. The real Flying Dutchman shows up at the party. He's angry someone is mocking ghosts with a bad costume. He appears in Born Again Krabs to punish Mr. Krabs for being too greedy. He tries to drag Mr. Krabs to the afterlife. He appears in Ghost Host when he loses his ability to scare people. Without scariness, he starts literally fading from existence. SpongeBob helps him become scary again. Each time he shows up backs up his supernatural nature. He's consistently shown as a real ghost with real powers across seasons. He has a ghost ship he lives on permanently. He has a job scaring people. This is his purpose. If he doesn't scare people regularly, he starts disappearing. This is a real rule of being a ghost in this world. Ghosts need to be scary to exist. If they're not scary anymore, they fade away. This makes real stakes for the Dutchman. He needs to keep his scary reputation. It's not just pride or ego. It's actual survival. Being scary is literally what keeps him existing. The ghost rules go beyond just the Flying Dutchman himself. Other characters become ghosts for a short time in different episodes. In Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost, SpongeBob and Patrick think they killed Squidward and turned him into a ghost. He didn't actually die, but they totally believe it. They treat him like a ghost. They serve him. They obey all his commands. They believe ghosts have power over the living. They think they have to do whatever the ghost says. This belief system exists in Bikini Bottom culture widely. Characters know ghosts are real. They know ghosts are dangerous. They know you should respect ghosts or face consequences. This isn't just SpongeBob and Patrick being silly or dumb. The whole town has this same understanding. Everyone knows ghosts exist and have power. Looking at all the Flying Dutchman episodes together shows consistent rules about how ghosts work. Ghosts can interact with the physical world when they want to. The Dutchman can grab living people with his hands. He can trap them on his ship. He can force them to do tasks. He can pick up objects. He's solid when he wants to be. But ghosts also go through things when it's handy. They float instead of walking. They glow. They're transparent. They exist partly outside normal physics. Becoming a ghost means losing your solid form forever. You can't eat because food falls through you. You can't touch things normally. You can't interact with the physical world the way you used to. You're stuck between life and death. The Flying Dutchman controls this change completely. He can turn living things into ghosts with a wave. He can turn ghosts back into living things if he wants. He has control over the line between life and death. This makes him super powerful. This makes him dangerous to cross. Characters are scared of him for very good reasons. The Flying Dutchman also has serving rules that tie people to him. In Shanghai, he forces SpongeBob and Patrick to join his ghost crew. They become his servants. They have to follow his orders without question. They have to help him haunt people. They wear little ghost crew outfits. They're bound to him until he releases them. This is shown as a real form of supernatural serving. Once you're part of the ghost crew, you can't just leave whenever you want. The Dutchman owns you in some way. He can keep you forever if he wants. This is really dark for a kid's show. The idea of serving a ghost forever is scary, but the show shows it like it's no big deal. This is just how ghost rules work in Bikini Bottom. There are results for crossing supernatural beings. The Dutchman's ship works as its own space outside normal Bikini Bottom. It floats above the city in the water. It shows up and disappears mysteriously. It's not anchored anywhere. It doesn't follow normal physics. It exists in a space between the ocean floor and the surface, maybe between life and death. Getting on the ship means going into the Dutchman's territory. His rules apply there. Normal laws don't matter. He can do whatever he wants on his ship. He's totally in charge there. This makes a supernatural pocket dimension in Bikini Bottom's world. The ship is always there, potentially. It could appear at any time. The Dutchman could grab anyone and take them aboard. This threat hangs over the town all the time, even when not clearly shown. Any character could be grabbed at any moment. How consistent the ghost system is across multiple episodes suggests it's not just random spooky stuff for laughs. It's part of the show's actual world building. The creators set up specific rules for how ghosts work in this universe. They followed those rules consistently in multiple episodes across different seasons. The Flying Dutchman has specific powers that don't change. He has specific limits. He needs to scare people to exist. He can transform living beings into ghosts. He can bind them to service. He operates from his ghost ship. These details repeat. They're official. They're part of how this world works. Bikini Bottom has a ghost system with rules. It has supernatural forces normal characters can interact with. The Flying Dutchman is the main example of this system. He's the face of death and the afterlife in this world. Understanding him means understanding how the spiritual side of Bikini Bottom works. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on, we have Davy Jones' locker and undersea consequences. Section 2. Davy Jones' locker and undersea consequences. Davy Jones' locker is a punishment place beyond normal Bikini Bottom reality. It's talked about as a real place characters can be sent to. It's treated as dangerous. Characters are scared of being sent there. It's part of the ocean mythology built into the show's world. The Flying Dutchman references it directly. Other characters know about it. It works as a supernatural result for certain actions. Understanding Davy Jones's locker shows another layer of the spiritual system controlling Bikini Bottom. Real-world ocean folklore includes Davy Jones's locker as the bottom of the ocean where sailors drown. It's a way to say death at sea. A sailor who dies underwater goes to Davy Jones's locker. It's not a physical place in real folklore. It's just a way of saying someone drowned and their body is on the ocean floor somewhere. It's poetic language for drowning. Sailors used it for centuries. They'd say a shipmate went to Davy Jones's locker instead of saying he drowned. It made death at sea sound less harsh somehow. It gave drowning a name and a place. SpongeBob takes this idea and makes it totally literal. Davy Jones's locker exists as a real physical place characters can be sent to. It's a punishment. It's a prison. It's a realm of consequences for wrongdoing or for angering supernatural forces. This follows the show's pattern of taking ocean folklore and making it real. Ghost ships are real. Sea monsters are real. Cursed treasures are real. And Davy Jones' locker is real too. The clearest mention comes in Shanghai when dealing with the Flying Dutchman. The Flying Dutchman is angry at SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward for boarding his ship without permission. He threatens them with various punishments. He lists several scary options. One option is eating their souls like food. Another option is binding them to his ghost crew forever. Another option is sending them to Davy Jones' locker. He says it casually like it's a real place he can actually send them to. It's shown as worse than just eating their souls somehow. It's a specific punishment place with a name. It's a place of exile. The characters react with instant fear when he mentions it. Their eyes go wide. They look at each other nervously. They know exactly what he's talking about. They don't ask him to explain more. They don't question if it's real. They don't say, "What's that?" They understand immediately. They've heard of it before. They don't want to go there. This suggests Davy Jones' locker is well known in Bikini Bottom. It's part of local knowledge about supernatural results. It's something characters grow up hearing about. Parents probably warn their kids about it. Teachers probably mention it. Everyone knows about it. The show never shows Davy Jones' locker directly in full detail. We don't get a whole episode looking at it. We don't see characters actually go there and come back. We don't get a tour of what it looks like inside. But the mentions treat it as totally real. Other episodes mention ocean curses and punishments beyond just this one. Characters talk about being sent to bad places for doing wrong. They talk about supernatural exile. They mention places beyond Bikini Bottom. The Flying Dutchman has set up power to send people places through multiple episodes. He can move people between places. He can move things from one spot to another instantly. He exists partly outside normal reality. He's not stuck by normal physics. If he says Davy Jones' locker exists, it probably does in this world. His control over supernatural stuff is well set up through multiple episodes across seasons. He's the expert on death and the afterlife. He knows ghost rules. He knows spiritual geography. When he talks about another punishment place, that's believable info. He's not making it up. He's not bluffing. The idea of Davy Jones himself shows up in SpongeBob vs. the Big One. Davy Jones is shown as a real being who exists in this world. He's not the Flying Dutchman. He's someone totally separate, someone different, someone who has his own place and his own powers and his own job. The episode shows him as a real being in the SpongeBob universe. He exists as a character you can meet. He's part of the mythology. He has his own identity. He's different from other supernatural beings. This confirms that when characters talk about Davy Jones' locker, they're talking about a real supernatural place connected with a real supernatural being. It's not just something people say without meaning. It's not just folklore or metaphor. It's part of the real spiritual geography of this world. There's a being named Davy Jones. He controls something. He has a locker. That locker is a place. That place is bad. That place is where you don't want to end up. Bikini Bottom sits on the ocean floor in normal geography. Characters live there. They have houses and businesses. In normal reality, the ocean floor is as low as you can go. You can't go deeper. It's the bottom by definition. There's nothing below it except the Earth's crust. But in SpongeBob's world, there are deeper places somehow. Darker places. Places beyond the normal ocean. Places that exist outside regular physics or geography. Davy Jones's locker represents one of these. It's below Bikini Bottom somehow, even though that shouldn't be physically possible. Or outside it in another dimension totally. Or on a different level of existence. Or in a pocket of space normal rules don't apply to. It's a place you can't get to through normal ways. You can't just swim there. You can't find it on a map. You can't accidentally trip into it. You have to be sent there by supernatural forces. The Flying Dutchman can send you there with his powers. Other powerful beings probably can too. Once you're there, you're stuck forever. You can't just swim back to Bikini Bottom. You can't escape. It's a prison. It's a punishment. It's exile from normal reality. You're taken away from the world you know. You're cut off from everyone and everything. The idea of punishment places fits perfectly with other supernatural things set up in the show. The Flying Dutchman can curse people. He can transform them into ghosts. He can bind them to eternal service on his ship. Having a place to send people who've wronged him makes total sense. It's a natural extension of his power. It's another tool he has. He's not just a scary ghost who floats around scaring people. He's someone who enforces supernatural results. He keeps order in the spiritual world. He punishes doing wrong. If you break certain rules, you face punishment from him. Sometimes that punishment is becoming a ghost yourself. You lose your physical form. Sometimes it's servitude on his ship forever. You become part of his crew. Sometimes it's being sent to Davy Jones's locker. You're exiled completely. How bad it is depends on what you did and how mad he is. Small wrongs get small punishments. Big wrongs get big punishments. The worst wrong might get you sent to the locker. This makes a moral part to Bikini Bottom's supernatural system. Actions have results in this world. Not just natural results like getting hurt or losing friends or getting in trouble. Supernatural results. Spiritual results that go beyond normal reality. If you make the Flying Dutchman mad, he'll punish you in supernatural ways normal rules can't stop. Police can't protect you. Laws don't work. If you do certain wrongs, you might be sent to punishment places. If you cross the wrong beings, you face exile from reality. The universe has ways to enforce things beyond just law enforcement and police and courts. There's spiritual law. There's cosmic justice. The Flying Dutchman and Davy Jones represent this. They enforce spiritual rules. They keep the line between okay and not okay behavior from a supernatural view. They keep order in ways normal authority can't. Characters in Bikini Bottom seem widely aware of this system. They know ghosts are real. They've seen them. They know curses work. They've witnessed them. They know there are places you can be sent as punishment for wrongdoing. They talk about these places in conversation. This knowledge affects behavior throughout the town. People fear the Flying Dutchman. They avoid making him angry. They respect supernatural forces. They don't mock ghosts openly. They take curses seriously when threatened. When someone mentions Davy Jones' locker, people react with immediate fear. They understand the reference. They know what it means. This is built-in cultural knowledge. Everyone in Bikini Bottom grows up knowing the supernatural is real and has rules. Parents teach their kids. Schools probably cover it. You follow those rules or face results. Davy Jones's locker is the final result. It's permanent exile. It's being taken away from reality totally. It's worse than death because you're stuck somewhere instead of just gone. Death might be peaceful. Death might be an ending. Davy Jones's locker is being locked up forever. The connection to ocean mythology makes perfect sense for an underwater show about ocean life. SpongeBob uses a lot of ocean folklore and sailor superstitions throughout its run. Ghost ships appear, sea monsters appear, lost underwater cities appear, mermaids and mermen appear, cursed treasures appear, ancient sea gods appear. All of this comes from real ocean folklore. Davy Jones's locker fits perfectly into this setup. It's taking real ocean folklore that sailors believed in and making it literal in the show's world. In the real world, sailors were scared of Davy Jones' locker as a way to say drowning at sea. In SpongeBob's world, it's a real place you actually have to fear. You can actually be sent there. This bases the show's supernatural things in recognizable cultural references while growing them into the show's own mythology. Viewers recognize Davy Jones' locker from pirate stories and sailor tales. Then the show makes it real. The fact we never see Davy Jones' locker directly makes it more mysterious and threatening, more scary. The unknown is always scarier than the known. If the show showed it fully in an episode, it might be less scary. It might become just another place characters visit. By keeping it as a talked-about threat that's mentioned but never shown, it keeps power. It stays scary. Characters fear it. We understand it's bad from their reactions. We don't need to see every detail. What's suggested is enough. Our imagination fills in the gaps. This is good world building. Not everything needs clear showing on screen. Some things work better as talked about dangers characters fear but viewers never see. The ranking of supernatural beings becomes clearer when thinking about Davy Jones's locker. The Flying Dutchman can send people there. This means he can get to it. He has power to use it as punishment. But he doesn't own it. It's not his place. He didn't make it. It's Davy Jones's place. It belongs to someone else. This suggests Davy Jones is at least as powerful as the Flying Dutchman, maybe even more powerful. Davy Jones controls a whole punishment place. That's big power. That's a huge responsibility. The Dutchman enforces rules and curses people. Davy Jones gives the prison where the worst wrongdoers go. They might work together. They might be part of the same supernatural system of justice. The Dutchman deals with enforcement and cursing on the front lines. Jones deals with locking people up and punishment in the background. Together, they keep order in the spiritual world. This makes different layers to Bikini Bottom's reality. There's the normal physical world where most episodes happen. Characters live here, they work here, they have adventures here. There's the supernatural layer where ghosts and curses work. The Flying Dutchman exists here. Ghost rules apply here. And there are punishment places like Davy Jones' locker that exist beyond both. These are places outside normal reality completely. Characters can move between these layers under certain specific conditions. Supernatural beings can move people between layers. Curses can change your state of being from one layer to another. Death means moving from one layer to another. The wall between these layers lets things through but is controlled. You can't cross it freely whenever you want. You need power or permission or punishment to move between places. Looking at Davy Jones' locker as part of the bigger supernatural system shows that Bikini Bottom has results built into its reality at a deep level. Actions matter spiritually, not just physically. There are places beyond normal reality where rule breakers or cursed people can be sent. The Flying Dutchman enforces these results. Davy Jones gives the place of punishment. Together, they keep a supernatural order that works alongside the normal social order of Bikini Bottom. Characters know this. They live with this knowledge every day. It affects how they act and what they fear. The spiritual world isn't separate from the physical world. They overlap. They touch all the time. And there are real results for crossing the wrong supernatural forces. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Next up is King Neptune as an undersea deity. Section 3. King Neptune as an undersea deity. King Neptune shows up across multiple episodes as a godlike figure with real divine power. He's not just a king in the political sense, he's a god. He uses supernatural abilities that go way past what normal characters can do. He has a magical trident that can do almost anything. He can judge souls. He can punish wrongdoing. He can transform things instantly. Characters treat him with respect and fear. They know he's more than just powerful. He's divine. Understanding Neptune shows the god level of Bikini Bottom's spiritual ranking. Gods show up in many cartoons as background things or one-time jokes. Usually they're mentioned but not shown, or they show up once for comedy. The episode treats them as powerful, but the power isn't taken seriously. Everything goes back to normal by the end. The god disappears, life goes back to normal. Showing up doesn't matter long term. Neptune in SpongeBob is totally different from this pattern. He shows up multiple times across different seasons. He's consistently shown as really divine every time. His power is real. His judgment matters. His actions have lasting results in the world. Characters remember meeting him. They talk about him when he's not around. They mention him in conversation. He's a set-up part of this world's mythology, not a one-time gag, not a joke that gets forgotten. He's a permanent part of the spiritual system that controls Bikini Bottom. Neptune's spatula brings in Neptune's divine nature clearly from the beginning. The episode starts with an ancient legend everyone in Bikini Bottom knows. There's a golden spatula stuck in Greece. It's been there for centuries. No one has ever pulled it out. Only the world's greatest fry cook can free it. This is like the sword and the stone from King Arthur legends. It's a test of being worthy. It's a divine challenge. SpongeBob hears about this legend. He goes to see the spatula. It's in a dark cave. The cave is spooky. The spatula glows. It looks magical. SpongeBob approaches it carefully. He grabs the handle. He pulls. The spatula comes free easily. Suddenly, everything changes. The cave lights up. Music plays. Energy swirls around. Neptune appears out of nowhere. He appears from thin air. He's huge compared to SpongeBob. He's glowing with divine energy. He looks godly. He wears a crown and flowing robes. He carries his trident. He speaks with deep power. His voice demands respect. He tells SpongeBob that pulling the spatula means he's worthy. He's proven himself. He must now come cook for Neptune in his castle. This isn't a request. This isn't an invitation. It's a divine call. SpongeBob can't refuse a god. He doesn't have a choice. Neptune takes him to his underwater castle immediately. The castle is huge beyond anything in Bikini Bottom. It's golden and shining. It's beautiful and grand. It's clearly the home of a god. It's on a totally different scale than normal buildings. Everything is bigger. Everything is fancier. Everything screams divine power and wealth. Neptune challenges SpongeBob to a cooking contest. What's at risk is clear. If SpongeBob wins, he gets to keep cooking for Neptune forever in the castle. If Neptune wins, SpongeBob goes free back to his normal life. They both start cooking. SpongeBob makes one perfect Krabby Patty. He puts all his skill into it. He takes his time. He makes it perfectly. Neptune watches. Then Neptune raises his trident. The trident glows bright. Energy shoots out in beams. Suddenly, 1,000 patties appear from nowhere. Neptune made them instantly using divine magic. His trident glowed. The energy made food appear. This is clear magic, clear divine power. No normal being can do this. No normal tool works this way. This is God-level ability to create matter from nothing. But when they taste the food, judges try both. SpongeBob's single perfect patty beats Neptune's 1,000 rushed ones. Quality beats quantity. Love beats speed. Neptune admits he lost with grace. He respects SpongeBob's skill. He admits he was beaten fairly. He lets SpongeBob go. He doesn't punish him. He doesn't get angry. He accepts the outcome. But the important part is Neptune's power was totally real. He could make food from nothing. He could teleport people to his castle. He could judge being worthy through ancient tests. These are divine abilities that prove he's actually a god. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie shows Neptune's full divine power in detail. King Neptune is a main character in the whole story. His crown gets stolen at the beginning. He loses much of his power without it. This shows the crown is a divine object that focuses his abilities. Without it, he's weakened a lot. He can still work, but he's not at full strength. The crown is part of being a god. It's a symbol and a tool. He says Mr. Krabs stole it. He's wrong. He jumps to conclusions. Plankton actually stole it as part of his plan, but Neptune doesn't check carefully. He doesn't look into it. He uses his divine power to make a judgment. He sentences Mr. Krabs to death right away. He's going to kill him. He can do this. He's a god. He has that power over life and death. He can kill anyone he wants with his power. No one can stop him. This is dark. This is serious power. Neptune sets a specific time limit. Mr. Krabs will be killed in exactly 6 days. The countdown starts. SpongeBob begs for a chance to save his boss. He begs Neptune. Neptune agrees to give him one chance. He gives SpongeBob a quest. Go to Shell City, far away, get the crown, bring it back before time runs out. If SpongeBob wins, Mr. Krabs lives. If SpongeBob fails, Mr. Krabs dies. No exceptions. This is divine judgment happening. Neptune controls life and death. Throughout the movie, Neptune waits at the Krusty Krab. He has Mr. Krabs stuck there. He's getting ready to kill him. He's not mean about it. He's not enjoying it. He's following what he thinks are rules of justice. He thinks Mr. Krabs is guilty. Divine justice must happen. When SpongeBob comes back with the crown at the very last second, Neptune stops the killing right away. He admits he was wrong. He says sorry to Mr. Krabs for real. He fixes things, but the power he showed throughout was totally real. He could have killed Mr. Krabs with one thought. He could have destroyed the whole town if he got mad. He has god-level power over life and death. After these big times showing up, Neptune appears in other episodes backing up his divine status consistently. Characters mention him regularly in casual conversation. They swear by him. They say, "By Neptune," or "Neptune's beard," like people say, "Oh my God," in real life. This shows he's part of religious life in Bikini Bottom. He's worshipped. He's respected deeply. People probably pray to him when in trouble. They definitely respect him deeply. When Neptune shows up anywhere, everyone stops what they're doing. Everyone pays attention. Everyone shows respect right away. Nobody makes fun of him to his face. Nobody challenges him casually. It's proof of being a god everyone can see. Neptune also shows divine judgment over and over across episodes. He decides who's worthy of rewards or tests. He decides who deserves punishment. He decides who lives and dies. This is the traditional job of a god in any religion. Gods judge mortals. They reward the good, they punish the bad. They keep moral order. Neptune does this consistently. In Neptune's spatula, he judged SpongeBob worthy through the ancient test. In the movie, he judged Mr. Krabs guilty at first. When proven wrong by evidence, he fixed his judgment fairly. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes. He jumps to conclusions sometimes. But he has the power to judge. That power comes from being divine. No one questions his right to make judgments. They might question his specific decisions, they might argue he's wrong, but they don't question his power to judge in the first place. The way characters react to Neptune shows his divine status clearly. They bow when he's there. They're nervous around him. They speak respectfully. SpongeBob usually acts silly and casual with everyone. He treats everyone the same. But even with Neptune, SpongeBob shows real respect. He recognizes divine power. He knows he's talking to a god. He changes his behavior. When Neptune speaks, characters listen carefully. When Neptune orders, characters obey right away. This isn't just fear of violence. This isn't just fear of punishment. This is respect. This is religious awe. Neptune represents the highest level of power in Bikini Bottom. Above kings, above governments, above police and laws, above everything physical. The only close power is the Flying Dutchman's spiritual area over death and ghosts. Neptune's castle represents divine space separate from normal reality. It's not in Bikini Bottom. It's somewhere else. It's bigger. It's more beautiful. It exists on a different level of reality. When SpongeBob goes there in Neptune's spatula, he's going into a godly place. The rules are different there. Physics might work differently. Time might move differently. Neptune has total control there. It's like visiting Mount Olympus in Greek mythology. It's where the god actually lives. Regular people can't get there normally. You can't just swim there. You need to be called. You need to be invited. You need to be picked. This makes a ranking of space in the world. Normal Bikini Bottom is where mortals live. Neptune's castle is where a god lives. The Flying Dutchman's ship is where ghosts work. Each place has its own rules and power. Neptune existing means there's divine order to the ocean. He's the king of the sea, but he's also the god of the sea. This means the ocean has divine control. There's a god responsible for it. This god watches over ocean life. This god can step in when needed. This god can judge when needed. This god keeps cosmic order underwater. Neptune doesn't show up all the time. He doesn't mess with daily life. But he's there. He exists. He can act when needed. He can judge when needed. This is how gods work in most mythologies. They exist on a higher level. They watch. They step in sometimes. Them existing shapes reality even when you can't see them. The power levels set up by Neptune make context for other supernatural beings. The Flying Dutchman is powerful. He can curse people. He can turn people into ghosts. He can control death. But can he challenge Neptune directly? Probably not. Neptune is a god. The Dutchman is a ghost. Gods rank higher than ghosts, usually in power rankings. Neptune controls the living ocean. The Dutchman controls the dead. They're in different areas. They don't fight. They exist together peacefully. But if they ever fought, Neptune would probably win. He has creation power. He can make things from nothing. He has divine power from a higher source. This ranking matters for understanding how the spiritual world works. Looking at Neptune's job across multiple episodes shows he's not just a powerful character. He's a god fully mixed into Bikini Bottom's world. He has a castle. He has a family. He has people who worship him. He has power that goes totally beyond normal physics. He judges being worthy through ancient tests. He controls life and death. He changes reality with his trident. Characters worship him, or at least respect him deeply. They mention him in daily talking casually. Him existing shapes how the world basically works. There's a god watching over the ocean. That god is King Neptune, and he's totally real. Before we move on, Make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to Triton and Divine Succession. Section 4. Triton and Divine Succession. King Neptune has a son named Triton. This shows divine succession is real in Bikini Bottom. Gods have families. Gods have heirs. Power can be passed down through generations. Triton shows up in The Clash of Triton as Neptune's son and heir. He has divine power inherited straight from his father, but he rejects his job completely. He doesn't want to be a god. He doesn't want divine responsibilities. This makes serious conflict between divine duty and personal freedom. Understanding Triton shows how divine families work in this world. Divine families show up in mythology across all cultures throughout history. Zeus had many kids who became gods themselves. Odin had sons who shared his power. Egyptian gods had kids who ruled different areas. These divine families made rankings of power. The kids of gods were also gods, or at least partly divine. They inherited supernatural power. They inherited cosmic responsibilities. They inherited specific jobs in keeping universal order. SpongeBob takes this ancient idea and makes it totally literal. Neptune has a son. That son has inherited power. That son is expected to eventually take over as ocean god. This is divine succession. This is how being a god continues across generations, instead of ending with one god. The Clash of Triton brings in Triton directly as a character. It's Neptune's birthday. He's celebrating with a big party. Everyone's invited. There's music and food. SpongeBob and Patrick want to help make it special. They want to do something meaningful for Neptune. They look around his castle for ideas. They find out something shocking. Neptune has a son locked away in a cage. Triton has been locked up for a very long time. Years, maybe decades. Neptune locked him up himself. This seems super cruel on the surface. A father locking up his own son? But there's a serious reason. Triton is super dangerous when mad. He has huge divine power. Neptune couldn't control him. Triton almost destroyed Atlantis once when mad. Neptune had no choice but to lock him up to protect everyone. SpongeBob and Patrick don't know any of this history. They just see a sad son missing his dad's birthday. They see family separated. They decide to free him as a birthday surprise. They want to bring father and son back together. They mean well. Their hearts are in the right place. They open the cage without understanding what will happen. Triton comes out of the cage right away. He's huge like his dad. He towers over normal characters. He has a trident exactly like his dad's. He has glowing divine energy around him. He has all the visual signs of being a god. But he's furious. He's been locked up for years. He's mad at his dad. He's mad at the world. He wants revenge for being locked up. He starts destroying things right away. He uses his trident without stopping. Energy blasts out in waves. Buildings fall apart under the power. The ocean floor shakes. The water itself moves with energy. This is god-level destruction. Triton got Neptune's full power. He's as strong as his dad. Maybe even stronger because he's younger and madder. The problem is he has no control. He's not calm. He's not careful. He's purely emotional. He's destructive. He's everything dangerous about divine power without knowing how to use it right. SpongeBob and Patrick right away realize they made a terrible mistake. They freed someone super dangerous. They caused this destruction. They try really hard to stop Triton. They try talking to him. They try making sense with him. They try everything they can think of. Nothing works. He's too powerful for them. He's a god. They're mortals. The power difference is too huge. They can't physically stop him. They can't magically stop him. They're helpless. Neptune gets there quickly. Father and son face each other for the first time in years. Triton is still furious. He wants to know why he was locked up. He wants answers. He deserves answers. Neptune explains the whole story. Triton was supposed to be heir to the throne. He was supposed to learn divine responsibilities from his dad. He was supposed to get ready to eventually be the next ocean god. This is his birthright. This is his destiny. But Triton didn't want any of that. He wanted to be free. He wanted to make his own choices. He wanted a normal life without divine duty. He rejected his job completely. This made him mad and angry. His anger made him dangerous to everyone. He almost destroyed Atlantis once when mad. He hurt innocent people. Neptune had no choice but to lock him away to protect the ocean and everyone in it. Triton hears this full explanation from his dad. He's still mad, he's still hurt, but he listens. Neptune explains more that he loves his son deeply. He only locked him up because he totally had to. He had no other choice he could see. He couldn't let Triton destroy the ocean. He couldn't let his son hurt tons of innocent people. But he never wanted to lose his son. He's been heartbroken for years. He's been sad every single day. He misses Triton terribly. He wishes things could have been different. This is the sad part of divine families. Sometimes cosmic duty goes against personal love. Sometimes protecting the world means hurting your own family. Neptune chose duty over comfort. He chose protecting his people over freeing his son. This is what gods have to do. They make impossible choices. They give up personal happiness for cosmic responsibility. The fight gets to its worst moment. Triton is ready to destroy totally everything. He's beyond listening. He raises his trident high. Divine energy builds around him. It's glowing brighter and brighter. He's going to let out huge destruction. He's going to flatten everything. Then, something totally unexpected happens that changes everything. The partygoers start singing to him. They wish him happy birthday too. They show him real kindness. They recognize his pain and suffering. They celebrate him as a person. They include him in the celebration. This simple act of kindness breaks through his anger. He realizes people actually care about him. He realizes he's been hurting innocent people who did nothing to him. His anger was aimed at his dad, but he's been punishing everyone else instead. He's been destroying the lives of people who don't deserve it. He lowers his trident slowly. The energy goes away. He calms down. He looks at his dad with different eyes. Neptune looks back with hope and sadness. They have a real moment of understanding between father and son. Triton makes a key choice in this moment. He decides to forgive his dad. He decides to try again with their relationship. He doesn't fully accept his divine job yet. He's not ready to be heir. But he's willing to talk. He's willing to be part of the family again. He's willing to give his dad another chance. Neptune is totally overjoyed. He hugs his son tightly. They make up emotionally. The instant crisis ends. Triton doesn't go back in the cage. Neptune trusts him now. He thinks his son has grown. They'll work things out together over time. Maybe Triton will eventually accept being heir. Maybe he won't ever accept it. But they're family again no matter what. That matters more than divine succession for now. This whole episode shows several key things about how divine families work. First, being a god is passed down and genetic. Triton has huge power just because Neptune is his dad. He didn't earn it through training. He didn't study for it. He didn't get it through hard work. He was just born with it. This is how divine succession works. Power passes through bloodlines automatically. Second, divine power comes with heavy expectations. Triton was expected to eventually take over from Neptune. He was expected to rule the ocean. He was expected to keep cosmic order. These aren't just suggestions or hopes. They're duties that come automatically with being divine. You don't get to just have the power. The responsibilities come attached. Third, divine beings can reject their passed-down jobs. Triton didn't want to be a god. He wanted personal freedom. He wanted to make his own choices about life. This makes basic conflict. The power is passed down automatically. The duty is passed down automatically. But accepting it isn't automatic. Free will still exists, even for gods. The relationship between Neptune and Triton closely matches relationships between gods in real mythology. Fathers and sons often fight in these stories. Zeus fought his father Cronus. Odin had fights with his sons over power. Divine families aren't perfect. They have drama. They have deep disagreements. They have hurt feelings. SpongeBob shows this realistically. Neptune and Triton really love each other. You can see it in how they interact. But they have deep fights about basic things. Duty versus freedom. Responsibility versus choice. Neptune believes deeply in divine responsibility. Triton believes deeply in personal choice. Both views are valid. Neither is clearly wrong. This makes the fight real and meaningful. Triton's shown power level confirms totally that he's divine. He can destroy buildings with a thought. He can shake the whole ocean floor. He can fight his dad on totally equal terms. This isn't something any mortal can do. Even powerful mortals like Sandy or Plankton couldn't do this. Even strong characters like Larry can't match this. This is purely god-level ability. Triton got it straight from Neptune through divine bloodlines. This means divine power is definitely genetic. It passes from parent to kid automatically. If Neptune had more kids, they would all have power too. Divine bloodlines matter a ton in this system. The fact Triton could be locked up shows divine power has limits. Neptune successfully locked up his own son for years. This means even gods can be held by other gods. Triton couldn't break out despite his huge power. Neptune's prison actually held him. This shows divine power can go against divine power. Gods can fight gods on equal ground. Gods can lock up other gods. The power might be cosmic and huge, but it's not absolute. There are checks and balances even at the divine level of existing. How things end shows divine succession isn't automatic or guaranteed. Triton might not ever take over. He might reject his job forever. Neptune might need to find another heir eventually. Or Neptune might just rule forever, since gods can live forever. They might not need succession at all. But having an heir matters for other important reasons. It continues the divine family line. It makes sure someone can help keep cosmic order. It gives the next generation a meaningful job. Triton rejecting his job makes a long-term crisis. Not right away, but eventually. What happens when Neptune needs help? What happens if Neptune wants to retire from divine duty? What happens if something threatens Neptune? These questions stay totally unanswered. Looking at Triton's whole story shows that divine power in Bikini Bottom comes with serious problems. It's not just about having amazing abilities. It's not just about being stronger than everyone. It's about accepting huge responsibilities. It's about meeting family expectations. It's about choosing duty over personal freedom. Triton has all the power of a god, but he doesn't want any part of the job. This basic tension makes ongoing story possibilities. Will he eventually accept his job? Will he find some middle ground? Will Neptune force the issue? Will something happen that changes Triton's mind? These questions make the divine ranking more interesting and moving. It's not stuck. It's not simple. Divine families have real fights. Divine succession is really uncertain. Gods are super powerful, but not simple or perfect. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Up next is the magic conch as a divine oracle. Section 5. The magic conch as a divine oracle. The magic conch shell in Club SpongeBob is the decision-making oracle characters obey without question. It's a toy. It's a kid's toy you can buy in stores. But SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward treat it like a divine authority. They follow its instructions completely. They don't question its answers. They trust it with their lives, literally. This makes a belief system like religious devotion. Understanding the magic conch shows how faith and belief work in Bikini Bottom. Oracles show up in many ancient religions and myths throughout human history. The oracle at Delphi gave prophecies in ancient Greece. People traveled far to hear its wisdom. They made important life decisions based on what it said. Kings asked it before wars. Citizens asked about marriages and business. They believed it spoke divine truth directly. The oracle didn't explain its answers. It didn't give reasons. It just gave short, mysterious responses. People had to figure it out and obey. They had to have faith. The magic conch works exactly the same way in every detail. It gives simple answers. It doesn't explain why. It doesn't justify its decisions. It doesn't give reasons. People either believe totally and obey, or they don't believe at all. There's no middle ground. SpongeBob and Patrick believe with their whole hearts. Squidward doesn't believe at first. He doesn't trust it. He's logical. This makes the main fight of the whole episode. Club SpongeBob starts with SpongeBob and Patrick in their secret clubhouse. It's a small cardboard box wedged in a tree branch. They have a club with strict rules and sacred rituals. The most important part of their whole club is the magic conch shell. It's a plastic toy that talks when you pull a string on the side. It gives random, pre-recorded answers to questions you ask. It says things like yes, no, maybe, try asking again, and I don't think so. These are pre-recorded answers on a loop. The shell is clearly just a toy. It has no smarts. It has no awareness. But SpongeBob and Patrick treat it as all-knowing. They treat it as godly. They ask it questions constantly about everything. They follow whatever it says without hesitation. This is their total belief system. The conch knows everything. The conch is never wrong. You must obey the conch, absolutely. There are no exceptions. Squidward makes fun of them at first when he sees what they're doing. He thinks they're being super dumb. He's logical. He's educated. He doesn't believe in magic shells. He makes fun of their club loudly. He makes fun of their belief. He calls them idiots. SpongeBob and Patrick are sitting in the cardboard box in the tree. Squidward climbs up the tree to mock them more directly. He leans on the box to look inside. The box breaks from his weight. All three of them fall down. They land on a log below. The log acts like a catapult. It shoots them into the air. They fly far through the ocean. They land deep in kelp forest miles away. They're totally lost. They have no idea where they are. Everything looks exactly the same. Kelp trees everywhere. No landmarks, no path, no signs. They're stuck in the wild. Squidward panics right away. He's scared. He's out of his comfort zone. He wants to get home. He starts walking in a random direction, confidently. He's sure he knows the way back. He doesn't ask anyone, he just starts walking. SpongeBob and Patrick stay totally calm. They don't panic at all. They have the magic conch. They trust it completely. They know it will guide them. Squidward asks them what they're doing just sitting there. They explain calmly they'll ask the conch for help. Squidward laughs loudly. He thinks this is the most ridiculous thing he's ever heard. A toy can't help them. A toy can't find the way home. He makes fun of them again, harshly. He walks away, confident. Hours pass slowly. Squidward walks in circles. He gets more lost. He gets tired. He gets thirsty. He gets hungry. He comes back to where he started. SpongeBob and Patrick are sitting in the exact same spot. They haven't moved at all. They're totally calm. They're relaxed. They're patient. Squidward is mad. Why haven't they done anything? Why haven't they looked for help? They explain simply, the conch told them to do nothing. They asked it what to do. It said nothing. So they're doing nothing. They're sitting and waiting patiently. Squidward thinks this is totally crazy, but he's desperate now. He's been walking for hours. He's exhausted. He's more lost than before. Maybe the shell actually knows something he doesn't. SpongeBob pulls the string. He asks the conch if they'll ever get out of the forest. The conch says, yes. They all get excited. There's hope. Squidward asks when they'll get rescued. SpongeBob asks the conch. The conch says, maybe someday. Squidward is frustrated. These aren't really helpful answers. These are vague, random toy responses. But SpongeBob and Patrick accept them totally. They believe totally, without question. They nod. They agree. They trust. Time passes slowly. Hours go by. They're still sitting in the same spot. They get hungry. Squidward sees a can of food sitting nearby randomly. Someone must have dropped it. He picks it up. Finally, food. He's starving. He's about to open it with his hands. SpongeBob stops him suddenly. You have to ask the conch first. Squidward refuses. He's hungry. He's going to eat. He found the food. SpongeBob and Patrick won't let him. Club rules. You must ask the conch. Everything must be okayed by the conch before you do it. No exceptions. Squidward gets mad. This is ridiculous. But they insist. He asks the conch in a sarcastic way. Can he eat the food? The conch says no, clearly. Squidward is shocked. He asks again, more seriously. Can he please eat the food? The conch says no again. SpongeBob and Patrick make him follow this strictly. The conch said no, you can't eat. That's final. Squidward is furious. This is just a toy. It's random. It doesn't know anything. It can't make decisions. But they won't move. They won't let him eat. The conch has spoken. What it says is law. Squidward breaks down totally. He's been lost for a very long time now. He's hungry. He's tired. He's frustrated beyond belief. He's at his limit. He starts yelling loudly. He screams at the sky. He complains about everything. He yells about how dumb this is. He yells about how unfair it is. He questions why this is happening to him. Then something totally unexpected happens that changes everything. A park ranger shows up from the trees, a professional park ranger for the kelp forest. He heard someone yelling loudly. He came to check out the noise. He finds the three of them. He asks what's wrong. He can lead them out of the forest. He knows the way. They're rescued. The conch was right. It said they'd get out. It said maybe someday. That someday is now, this exact moment. SpongeBob and Patrick thank the conch out loud. They praise it. They bow to it. They were totally right to have faith. The conch knew all along. It knew they just had to wait. It knew rescue would come. The ranger looks at their magic conch. He recognizes it right away. He's part of Club SpongeBob too. He has his own magic conch in his ranger uniform. He pulls it out to show them. He's been a member for many years. He also follows the conch's guidance in his life. He also trusts it totally with all decisions. This totally shocks Squidward. An adult, a professional with training, someone with responsibility and a job. And he believes in the magic shell too. He's not a kid. He's not naive. Yet he has total faith. The ranger asks his own conch if they can all go home now. He pulls the string. The conch says yes. They all celebrate. They cheer. They can leave. Squidward is relieved, finally. He asks if he can eat now. SpongeBob asks the conch. The conch says no. Everyone laughs except Squidward. Squidward has to keep starving. The conch won't let him. The conch has said no to him again. The episode ends with Squidward miserable and hungry, while everyone else is happy, following the conch faithfully. This episode shows several key things about belief systems in Bikini Bottom. First, objects can become sacred through just belief. The magic conch is just a toy. It has no real power. It has no smarts. It gives random pre-recorded answers from a list. But belief makes it powerful in practice. SpongeBob and Patrick give it power over their lives. They choose to obey it. They give up their free will to it. Their faith makes it real for them. Their belief gives it power. Second, ritual behavior makes belief stronger. Asking the conch isn't casual. It's not just a question. It's a ritual with steps. You pull the string carefully. You listen closely. You obey right away. You don't question, ever. This ritual approach makes it feel more sacred, more important, more real, more godly. Third, shared belief makes strong community bonds. SpongeBob, Patrick, and the Ranger all believe in the conch. This connects them deeply. They're part of the same club. They share the same faith. They follow the same rules. This makes powerful bonds between them that outsiders don't have. The conch works exactly like a religious oracle from ancient times. You ask a question, it gives an answer. You don't question the answer. You don't ask for reasons. You just obey. The oracle at Delphi worked this exact way. People asked important questions. The oracle gave mysterious, unclear answers. People obeyed without understanding why the answer was given. Faith meant accepting without proof. Faith meant trusting without evidence. The magic conch needs the exact same faith. When it says no to eating, there's no explanation, no reason given, no reason why. You just accept it. You just obey. This is pure faith without logic. Squidward represents the logical doubter in this system. He doesn't believe. He wants proof. He wants logic. He wants evidence. He sees clearly the shell is just a toy. He's right with facts. It really is just a toy. But being right doesn't help him. Being logical doesn't save him. He stays miserable. He stays hungry. He stays frustrated. Meanwhile, SpongeBob and Patrick stay happy. They stay calm. They stay peaceful. They have faith. Their belief gives them peace of mind. Whether the conch is actually real doesn't matter. Believing in it helps them cope. This is what faith does for people. It gives comfort and structure even without proof. The coincidence of being rescued makes their belief stronger. They were saved. The conch said they would be saved. To them, this proves the conch was totally right. Never mind that sitting and doing nothing didn't actually make the rescue happen directly. The Ranger found them by pure luck. He heard Squidward yelling and screaming. The conch had nothing to do with that. But believers see proof everywhere. They see proof in coincidence. This is how faith works in practice. Coincidence becomes evidence. Random events become divine stepping in. Everything that happens proves what you already believe. The fact a park ranger also believes adds serious believability to the system. He's an authority figure. He has professional training. He has an important job. He's responsible for people's safety. Yet he also follows the conch. This shows belief can exist alongside being logical and being good at things. You can work fine and still have total faith. The ranger does his job well. He rescues people successfully. He knows the forest really well. And he asks a toy shell for personal guidance. Both things exist together. This suggests the conch belief isn't just for naive characters. It's not just for kids. It's a real belief system in Bikini Bottom that adults follow. The club structure adds being official to the belief. It's not just casual personal faith. There are strict rules. There are sacred rituals. There's official membership. You can join the club officially. You can follow the teachings. You can become part of the community. This makes it organized religion instead of just personal belief. SpongeBob and Patrick aren't just two people who like a toy. They're official members of Club SpongeBob. They follow club rules. They do club rituals. Other people can join. The Ranger joined years ago. This makes an organized belief system with structure and ranking. The way the conch controls behavior shows total religious power. It tells them not to eat. They don't eat. It tells them to do nothing. They do nothing. It tells them to wait. They wait. It has total power over their actions. They've given up their free will to it. They've given up making their own decisions. This is religious devotion at its core. You give up control. You let the divine power decide everything. The conch is their divine power. What it says is total law. No one questions it. No one disobeys it. Looking at the Magic Conch episode shows that Bikini Bottom has space for faith-based belief systems. Not just supernatural beings like Neptune or the Flying Dutchman who have obvious power, but also belief in ordinary objects, belief in oracles, belief in things that give guidance. The conch might be just a toy objectively, but belief makes it real for those who follow it. Faith makes its own reality. Whether something is objectively real doesn't matter practically. If people believe strongly and act on that belief, it affects the world. The conch affects decisions. It affects behavior. It affects outcomes. Through belief, it becomes basically real. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on, we have urban legend, folklore, and slasher myths. Section 6. Urban legend, folklore, and slasher myths. Graveyard Shift brings in the hash-slinging slasher as an urban legend that town people fear and treat as real. It's a scary story. It's folklore. But characters react to it with real fear. They make it ritual. They tell it to each other with specific details. They believe it might be true. This makes a community myth that serves spiritual and social purposes. Understanding the hash-slinging slasher shows how folklore works as belief in Bikini Bottom. Urban legends exist in every culture throughout human history. They're stories people tell to each other. Stories that might be true. Stories that happen to a friend of a friend, supposedly. Nobody can check them directly, but everyone knows someone who knows someone. They spread through communities naturally. They change over time as they're retold. Details get added. Details get changed. They do things beyond just being fun. They teach moral lessons. They make shared fear. They bond communities through shared stories and experiences. The hash-slinging slasher is exactly this kind of legend. It's a story Squidward tells to scare SpongeBob. It spreads. It takes on a life of its own. People believe it. People fear it. It becomes part of local culture. The episode starts with SpongeBob super excited about working the night shift. He's never worked at night before. The Krusty Krab is usually closed after evening hours. But Mr. Krabs decides to stay open 24 hours to make more money from customers. He wants to get the late night market. SpongeBob and Squidward have to work overnight together. SpongeBob is totally thrilled. He loves the Krusty Krab. He loves his job. Working at night is a new adventure. He's bouncing with excitement. Squidward is totally miserable. He hates his job already. He hates working extra hours even more. He's mad at Mr. Krabs. He's mad at SpongeBob for being happy. He wants to make the night more interesting for himself, so he decides to scare SpongeBob to pass the time. He's going to tell a scary story. Squidward sits SpongeBob down. He turns off most of the lights. He makes atmosphere on purpose. He holds a flashlight under his face. He makes his voice spooky. He makes the legend of the hash-slinging slasher right there on the spot. He makes up details as he goes. He describes a fry cook who worked at the Krusty Krab many years ago. This fry cook was super clumsy. He couldn't handle kitchen equipment right. One night during closing, he accidentally cut off his own hand with a spatula. He was being careless. The spatula sliced right through. He replaced his missing hand with a rusty old spatula. He attached it somehow. Now he had a spatula for a hand. Then, on his way home that same night, he got hit by a bus. The bus killed him instantly. He died right there on the street. But the story doesn't end with him dying. On certain specific nights, his ghost comes back from the grave. He comes back to the Krusty Krab where he died in spirit. He wants revenge for dying. He wants to kill the current fry cook. He's mad. He wants revenge. He's dangerous. SpongeBob listens with wide, terrified eyes. He's totally scared. He believes every word. Squidward adds more details to make it scarier. There are 3 warning signs the slasher is coming. First, the lights flicker on and off. Second, the phone rings but no one's there when you answer. Third, a ghostly bus shows up outside. Then the slasher himself shows up. He drags his spatula hand along the ground, making scraping sounds. He comes to kill. Squidward laughs when he finishes. He made it all up, obviously. It's just a story to scare SpongeBob. SpongeBob is totally terrified, but then the warning signs start happening exactly as he said. The lights flicker on and off. Both of them notice. SpongeBob points it out. Squidward tries to explain it away calmly. It's just old wiring. The building is old. The lights flicker sometimes. It's normal. Nothing supernatural. Then the phone rings loudly. Squidward answers it confidently. No one speaks on the other end. The line is silent. Then it goes dead. Click. Squidward hangs up. He's less confident now. His voice shakes a little. He says it's just a prank call. Kids playing jokes. Nothing to worry about. Then they both look out the window. They see something in the darkness. A bus shows up outside. It's glowing green. It looks ghostly. It looks exactly like the bus from the story. A dark figure steps off the bus. The figure is shadowy. It's walking toward the Krusty Krab slowly. Both Squidward and SpongeBob panic totally. The legend is real. The slasher is actually coming. Squidward made it up, but now it's happening. This is impossible, but it's happening. They hide behind the counter. They're totally terrified. They hear scraping sounds from outside. Something metal dragging along the ground. The spatula. It has to be the spatula dragging. They hear footsteps getting closer. Someone's inside the restaurant. Someone's coming toward them. They're trapped. They can't escape. They hold each other shaking. The figure gets closer, slowly. They scream at the top of their lungs. The lights come on suddenly. It's not the slasher at all. It's just a normal fish, a regular customer. He wants to apply for a job. He heard they were hiring. He's been dragging his foot because he has a limp. That was the scraping sound. He's been trying to call, but keeps getting nervous and hanging up. That was the mysterious phone calls. He took the night bus here. That was the ghostly bus. Everything has a perfectly logical explanation. Every single sign. Squidward and SpongeBob laugh with huge relief. It was all just coincidence. The legend isn't real after all. They were scared over nothing. But the episode has one more twist at the very end. The lights flicker again mysteriously. They turn around slowly. The real hash-slinging slasher is standing there. He looks exactly like Squidward said in the story. He's green and ghostly. He has a spatula for a hand. He's see-through like a ghost. He raises the spatula in a threatening way. They scream again, but he just wants to return the spatula he borrowed years ago when he worked there. He's not evil at all. He's not dangerous. He just needed to give something back. He's polite. Then Nosferatu shows up randomly in the background and flips the light switch. He was making the flickering lights the whole time. This ending is totally absurd, but it confirms something important. The slasher was actually real. The legend was true. This episode shows how urban legends work in communities in detail. First, stories spread through direct telling. Squidward told SpongeBob. Now they both know the story. If they tell others, the legend spreads more. This is oral tradition. Stories passed person to person, generation to generation. No books needed, just telling and retelling. Second, legends get power through fear they make. The fear makes the story memorable. People remember scary stories. They can't forget them. They retell them to others. They share them. Fear is a bonding experience. Squidward and SpongeBob bond through shared terror. They go through it together. Third, coincidence makes belief stronger. All the warning signs happened by pure coincidence, different unrelated events. But it felt like the legend coming true. This makes the story feel real, feel possible, feel like it could happen to anyone. The structure of the legend follows classic urban legend patterns exactly. There's a sad backstory that explains everything. The fry cook died horribly in an accident. There's a curse or haunting that keeps going after death. He comes back as a vengeful ghost. There are specific warning signs you can watch for. The flicker, the call, the bus. There's a clear target for the haunting, the current fry cook. These parts show up in urban legends everywhere across cultures. Hookman stories have similar structure. Bloody Mary stories follow the same pattern. The vanishing hitchhiker, the killer in the back seat. They all follow similar patterns. The hash-slinging slasher fits perfectly into this tradition. The legend does something beyond just scaring people for fun. It's a warning story about workplace safety. The fry cook died because he was clumsy with equipment. He cut off his hand with a spatula. He wasn't being careful. This warns current workers to be careful with dangerous equipment. Don't be clumsy with knives. Don't rush when using sharp tools. Pay attention to what you're doing. The story teaches a safety lesson through fear. This is how folklore works traditionally. Stories teach without preaching directly. They show results through story. The lesson sticks because it's wrapped in a scary story. The fact the slasher turns out to be real makes the whole legend valid. Even though Squidward totally made it up on the spot, it existed anyway. This suggests legends tap into real things somehow. Maybe Squidward heard the story somewhere before and forgot. Maybe the legend already existed in Bikini Bottom and he was just retelling it. Maybe legends make their own reality through everyone believing. Either way, the slasher was real. The legend was true. This confirms that folklore in Bikini Bottom can be right and trustworthy. The community part of legends shows up through shared knowledge and culture. If Squidward knows the story well enough to tell it, others probably know it too. Legends are community property. Everyone knows them. Everyone can tell them. Everyone adds their own details. Everyone has their own version. This makes a shared mythology. The hash-slinging slasher is part of Bikini Bottom's folklore now. Kids probably tell the story at sleepovers to scare each other. Workers tell it to scare new employees on their first night shift. Parents might tell it as a warning. It becomes part of local culture everyone shares. The ritual of telling the story matters as much as what's in it. Squidward doesn't just casually say, "There's a ghost fry cook." He builds suspense carefully. He sets the scene with lighting. He describes details slowly. He makes atmosphere. He uses his voice for effect. This is ritual storytelling. How you tell the story is as important as the story itself. The ritual makes it special, makes it memorable, makes it powerful, makes it scary. You have to tell it right or it doesn't work. Fear does an important social thing in communities. When communities share the same fears, they bond together. They have common ground. Everyone who knows the slasher story is connected. They're part of the same culture. They share the same nightmares. They understand the same references. This makes social togetherness. It makes group identity. Being scared together is a powerful bonding experience. Sharing fear makes closeness. The weird ending with Nosferatu doesn't make the legend less. It actually adds to it. Now the story has more layers. Now it's more complicated. The slasher is real, but he's friendly. He just wanted to return something. Nosferatu controls the lights for no reason. The legend grows and changes. It gets richer. Each telling can add something new. This is how folklore grows over time. Stories change. Details get added or taken away. The core stays, but variations come up. Each teller adds their own touch. Looking at the hash-slinging slasher shows that urban legends work as a kind of belief system in Bikini Bottom. They're not formal religion with churches. They're not organized worship with priests. But they're shared stories that communities believe in together. They serve spiritual purposes. They teach moral lessons. They make shared culture and identity. They bond people through fear and wonder. The legend might have started as total fiction, but through telling and retelling, through fear and coincidence, through shared belief, it becomes real. Not just real in the sense the slasher character exists, real in the sense it affects how people think and act and feel. The legend has real power over behavior. Folklore has power over communities. Stories have power over reality. This is another layer of Bikini Bottom's spiritual life. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Next up is Spongehenge and post-apocalyptic belief systems. Section 7. Spongehenge and post-apocalyptic belief systems. Spongehenge shows a far future where huge stone statues of SpongeBob stand alone in empty ocean. Alien explorers find them thousands of years later. They study them carefully. They wonder what they mean. They treat them like religious monuments or mysterious objects. This episode shows how objects can become sacred over time, how things made for practical reasons become symbols, how future civilizations might worship or study what's left of the past. Understanding Spongehenge shows how belief systems form around mysterious objects. Ancient civilizations left monuments behind that modern people study today. Stonehenge in England, Easter Island statues, pyramids in Egypt, Mayan temples. We find these huge structures scattered around the world. We don't always know exactly why they were built. We make educated guesses. We make theories based on evidence. We sometimes treat them as spiritual or sacred places. They become mysterious because we've lost the original context totally. The people who built them are long gone, dead for thousands of years. The reasons are forgotten. The knowledge disappeared. Only the structures stay standing. Spongehenge works exactly the same way. SpongeBob builds giant statues for a specific practical reason during his lifetime. But thousands of years later, that reason is totally forgotten. The context is lost. Only the statues stay standing alone. Aliens find them. They don't know what they mean. They don't know who built them. They treat them as important, as meaningful, as worth studying and keeping carefully. The episode starts in present-day Bikini Bottom. SpongeBob is at work at the Krusty Krab like any normal day. Everything seems fine at first. Then jellyfish start showing up outside. Just a few at first. They're attracted to something. They swarm around the building. SpongeBob goes outside. They swarm around him specifically. He can't figure out why. They follow him everywhere he goes. They won't leave him alone at all. He tries to work, but they get in the way constantly. They buzz around his head. They get in his way. They distract customers. Mr. Krabs gets more and more mad. The jellyfish are bothering paying customers. They're messing up business. They're costing him money. SpongeBob tries everything to make them leave. He shoos them away. They come back. He runs. They follow. He hides. They find him. Nothing works at all. They keep coming back over and over. More and more jellyfish show up each time. The swarm gets bigger and bigger. Hundreds of them, then thousands. The sky fills with jellyfish. SpongeBob finally realizes something important. The jellyfish are attracted to the specific sound his holes make when wind blows through them. His body is full of holes, like a natural sponge. Wind passing through these holes makes musical notes. Different holes make different pitches. The wind plays him like an instrument. The jellyfish love this sound deeply. They're pulled to it naturally and powerfully. They can't resist it at all. It's like a siren call to them. SpongeBob can't stop the wind from blowing. He can't stop having holes in his body. That's what he is. He's stuck with this problem. The jellyfish will never leave him alone. SpongeBob tries really hard to escape the jellyfish by running away from them. He leaves the Krusty Krab running. The jellyfish follow in a huge swarm. He runs through Bikini Bottom's streets. The swarm follows overhead. He runs to his pineapple house. They surround it totally. He can't escape anywhere. He's trapped inside his own home. Days pass slowly. The jellyfish won't leave at all. They wait outside all the time. Thousands of them. SpongeBob can't go to work. He can't leave his house. He can't go outside. He's locked up by jellyfish. He gets desperate. He's running out of food. He's running out of options. He needs a solution fast. He has an idea, a desperate idea. He'll build decoys. He'll make statues of himself made of solid stone. He'll carve holes in them in specific places. When wind blows through the statue holes, they'll make the same musical sounds. The jellyfish will be attracted to the statues instead of him. He can escape while they're distracted. SpongeBob starts building the first statue outside his house. He gathers rocks and stone. He carves it by hand. He makes it look exactly like himself. Every detail. He puts holes carefully in the same spots as his body holes. He tests it. Wind blows through. It makes musical sounds. The jellyfish are interested. They buzz around it. But one statue isn't enough. The jellyfish still remember him. He builds a second statue, then a third, then more and more. He keeps building obsessively. Days pass, weeks pass. He makes them huge, bigger than buildings, bigger than houses, huge stone monuments. He arranges them in a careful circle around himself. He makes a monument. The statues stand tall, reaching up toward the surface. Wind blows through all of them at once. They make complicated harmonies, multiple notes playing together, a full orchestra of stone. The jellyfish swarm to the statues. They leave SpongeBob alone finally. His plan actually works. He's free from them. But SpongeBob has been building for so super long that everything changed around him. Time passed while he worked. Months, years, maybe decades. He was so focused on carving statues, he didn't notice anything else. He didn't look around, he didn't check on anyone. He just carved stone day and night. He looks around now. Bikini Bottom is gone, totally gone. Every building disappeared or crumbled. Every road vanished. Every house fell down. Everyone left or died. He's totally alone. The ocean is empty around him, just sand and rocks. And his statues. The statues are all that's still standing. He's devastated totally. He lost everything while building. He calls out for his friends. No one answers. He calls for Patrick. Nothing. He calls for Sandy. Nothing. He calls for Squidward. Silence. He's totally alone forever. The episode shows him sitting among his statues in the empty ocean, looking sad and lost. Then the episode jumps forward, a lot. Thousands of years into the future, maybe tens of thousands. The ocean is totally different. Bikini Bottom is long forgotten. Civilization is gone. All traces disappeared. Alien explorers visit Earth's oceans. They're looking for signs of ancient life. They're writing down what existed before they got there. They're scientists studying Earth's past. They find the statues standing in the sand. Huge stone structures standing in a perfect circle. They're amazed by finding them. They've never seen anything like this. They take detailed measurements. They scan them with equipment. They record everything carefully. They talk about what the statues might mean. Were they religious monuments built for worship? Were they art made for beauty? Were they markers for something important? Were they tombs? Were they temples? They don't know. They can't know. The context is totally lost. The builders are dead. The civilization is gone. The knowledge vanished. They make educated guesses. They make theories. They treat the statues as important ancient objects worth studying carefully and keeping. They write them down thoroughly for their archives. They take samples. They photograph everything. Then they leave. The statues stay standing, alone, waiting. This ending shows several key things about how belief and meaning work over time. First, objects last longer than their original purpose totally. SpongeBob built the statues just to distract jellyfish. That was their only purpose. A practical solution to a practical problem. But thousands of years later, no one knows that. No one remembers jellyfish. No one remembers SpongeBob. No one remembers Bikini Bottom. The statues exist without their context. They become mysterious. They become puzzles. People give new meaning to them. They make stories, they make theories. Second, future civilizations see the past through their own lens and understanding. The aliens don't know what the statues meant originally. They can't know. So they guess based on what they understand, based on their own culture. They might think they're religious. They might think they're territory markers. They might think they're art. They might think they're monuments to leaders. All ways of seeing it are guesses. None are right, but all make sense. Third, mysterious objects become sacred or important over time naturally. The statues are just practical tools SpongeBob made. But to the aliens, they're important ancient monuments. They're worth studying, worth writing down, worth keeping, worth traveling to see. Mystery makes value. Not knowing makes importance. The statues standing alone in empty ocean make a haunting and lonely image. They're monuments to a lost world. Everything else is gone. Bikini Bottom disappeared totally. SpongeBob is gone. His friends are gone. His life is gone. His whole civilization disappeared. Only the statues stay as proof anyone was ever there. This is how civilizations are remembered sometimes throughout history. through what they left behind, through monuments and structures. Everything else fades away. Buildings crumble, people die, memories are forgotten, culture disappears, language is lost. But stone monuments can last thousands of years. They become the only record of what was, the only proof, the only memory. The aliens treating the statues as important makes them valid as monuments. Even though SpongeBob didn't mean them that way, they became that way over time. Meaning changes over time. Purpose changes over time. What starts as practical becomes symbolic. What starts as temporary becomes permanent. The statues were meant to be temporary distractions for jellyfish. They became eternal monuments to a lost civilization. This change happens throughout human history all the time. Things built for one reason become important for totally different reasons. Context shifts. Meaning shifts. The object stays, but what it means changes totally. The episode also shows how whole civilizations can end totally and suddenly. Bikini Bottom was doing well. It had thousands of citizens. It had businesses everywhere. It had culture and society. It had government and laws. Then it was gone. What happened? The episode doesn't explain at all. Did everyone leave? Did disaster hit? Did the ocean become impossible to live in? Did war destroy everything? Did plague kill everyone? Did environment collapse force people to leave? We don't know. The gap between SpongeBob building statues and aliens finding them is huge. Thousands of years. Whole civilizations could rise and fall multiple times in that time. The specific cause doesn't matter to the story. The point is, everything ended. Whole civilizations can disappear, leaving only monuments behind. The fact aliens find the statues shows life continues after civilizations end. The ocean doesn't stay empty forever. New beings eventually come. They explore, they study, they try to understand what came before. They become the next chapter. They become the new civilization. The statues connect past to future. They're a bridge between SpongeBob's time and the aliens' time. Without the statues, the aliens would never know anything existed there. The monuments keep memory across thousands of years. They're the only connection between civilizations separated by time. This makes a kind of accidental religion or belief system potentially. The aliens might make complicated theories about the statues. They might give spiritual meaning. They might think SpongeBob was a god. They might think the statues were temples for worship. They might make whole belief systems around these monuments. This is how some ancient religions actually formed in real history. People found mysterious structures. They made stories to explain them. They made rituals around them. They built belief systems around objects they didn't understand. The statues of SpongeBob could become the base for alien beliefs. They could become sacred objects. They could become gods. The circular setup of the statues adds to the mystery a lot. SpongeBob arranged them that way for practical sound reasons. The circle makes the best sound when wind blows through from all directions. But to outside watchers thousands of years later, a circle suggests ritual, suggests ceremony, suggests purpose beyond simple use. Stone circles throughout human history are treated as deeply sacred. Stonehenge is a circle. It's thought of as one of the most important ancient monuments. The Spongehenge circle might be treated the same way. The aliens might think it's a sacred space, a temple, a place of worship, a ritual place, all because of practical setup for sound. The huge size of the statues also makes importance in alien minds. They're huge, way bigger than SpongeBob himself was. He built them big so the jellyfish would notice them from far away, so the sound would carry. But to future watchers, the size suggests importance, suggests power, suggests worship. Ancient civilizations built big monuments to honor gods or leaders or important events. Easter Island statues are huge. Egyptian pyramids are huge. Size shows importance everywhere. The Stonehenge statues are huge, so they must be important. This logic makes sense to anyone studying them without context. Looking at Stonehenge shows how after the end belief systems might form naturally. After civilization ends totally, what's left stays scattered. Future civilizations find what's left. They study them carefully. They give meaning. They make theories. They might make beliefs around them. The monuments become sacred not because they were meant that way, but because mystery makes them sacred automatically. This shows belief doesn't always start with gods or spirits. Sometimes it starts with objects, with monuments, with mysterious structures that need explanation. When you can't explain something, you make stories. Those stories become beliefs. Those beliefs become systems. Those systems become religions. Stonehenge shows this whole process from both sides. We see SpongeBob make the practical objects. We see aliens find the mysterious monuments. The change from tool to sacred object happens across time. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to time travel and eternal recurrence. Section 8. Time travel and eternal recurrence. SB129 shows Squidward traveling through time to the far future and far past. He runs into time-strange things outside normal straight-line time. He visits a white void where nothing exists. He sees the same events, maybe repeating. This feeds into ideas about fate and repeating existence. Understanding time travel in SpongeBob shows how the show treats time as moving and maybe circular instead of straight and fixed. Time travel shows up in many science fiction stories throughout media. Usually time flows in one direction clearly, past to present to future. Linear, unchangeable, a straight line. You can possibly travel to different points on that line, but the timeline itself stays the same. Events happen in order. Cause leads to effect. SpongeBob treats time totally differently. Time seems less stable, less straight, more flexible, more breakable. Characters can jump to different points easily. They can see multiple possible futures. They can see time ending totally. They can visit the beginning of everything. The show treats time as something that can break or loop or stop totally. This makes a different view of fate and destiny. If time isn't straight, if it can loop back, then events might repeat forever. Fate might be repeating instead of moving forward. History might repeat forever. SB129 starts with Squidward really trying to escape SpongeBob and Patrick. They're annoying him as usual. They want him to play with them. They're being loud and silly. He doesn't want to play. He wants peace and quiet. He runs away from them. He runs into the Krusty Krab, looking for somewhere to hide. He looks around frantically. He needs somewhere they won't find him. He finds the walk-in freezer. He goes inside. He locks the door behind him. He thinks he's safe, finally. He sighs with relief. But the door handle breaks off. It falls to the floor. He's trapped. He can't get out. He tries to force the door. It won't move. He's stuck in the freezer. He calls for help loudly. No one hears him. The restaurant is closed. Everyone's gone. He starts freezing fast. The temperature is way below zero. Ice forms on him. Everything goes white. He passes out from super cold. Time passes while he's frozen solid. A very long time. 2,000 years, according to the episode title card. He's totally frozen solid, like a block of ice. Kept perfectly. Then, eventually, someone opens the freezer. The ice melts. He thaws out. He wakes up gasping. He's in the future. The Krusty Krab is totally different. Everything is chrome and shiny, metallic, future-like. Technology is everywhere. The building itself looks advanced. Robots work the restaurant. Everything is automated. No one is cooking by hand. Machines do everything. Squidward is confused. He doesn't understand what happened. Where is everyone? What happened to the old restaurant? Then he meets Spongetron and Patron. They're descendants of SpongeBob and Patrick, supposedly. They look exactly the same as their ancestors. Same faces, same voices, same body shapes, same personalities. But they say they're from future generations far away. They recognize Squidward right away from history somehow. They know who he is from old records, from archives, from history books maybe. He doesn't listen to directions. He panics. He can't wait. He presses buttons randomly, trying to make it work. The time machine turns on. Lights flash. Energy builds. He travels through time. But he went the wrong direction. Forward instead of backward. He goes even farther into the future. He gets to a point where everything ends. He's in a white void. Literally nothing exists there. No buildings, no water, no ocean, no fish, no life, no color, no sound, no light, no dark. Just infinite white emptiness, going forever in all directions. This is the end of time itself. This is where reality stops, where existence stops. Squidward is terrified. He's alone in total nothingness. He screams, but there's no sound. He runs, but there's no ground. He presses more buttons desperately. The time machine turns on again. This time, he goes backward through time. He travels to the far past, millions of years before Bikini Bottom exists, before civilization, before culture. He gets to prehistoric times. The ocean floor is totally primitive. No buildings anywhere, no technology, no roads, just rocks and basic primitive life. Algae, simple plants, basic organisms. He meets prehistoric versions of SpongeBob and Patrick. They're cavemen versions. They look the same, but act totally primitive. They wear animal skins. They grunt instead of talking. They use rough stone tools. They don't recognize Squidward at all. They don't have language. They try to communicate but can't. They make sounds and hand movements. Squidward is frustrated. He's jumped too far back, way too far. He needs to get to his own time, present day. He uses the time machine again desperately. He travels forward through time, but he ends up in the white void again. Same place, same nothingness. He tries again frantically. He ends up in prehistoric times again. Same cavemen, same rocks. He's stuck in a loop. He can't escape it. He can't get home. He keeps hitting the same two endpoints, void and prehistory, void and prehistory, over and over. Eventually, Squidward gives up trying to control the time machine exactly. He just wants to go anywhere that's not the void or prehistory. Anywhere with civilization. Anywhere with other people. He presses buttons desperately without thinking. Random combinations. The machine sends him somewhere. He gets back to the present finally. Back in the Krusty Krab freezer. Right when he left. The exact moment. SpongeBob and Patrick open the freezer door. They ask cheerfully if he wants to play now. He screams in terror and runs away. He's traumatized by his trip through time. The episode ends with him running terrified. This episode shows several key things about how time works in Bikini Bottom's universe. First, time has physical places you can visit. The future exists as a real place. The past exists as a real place. The white void exists as a real place. Time isn't just an abstract idea. It's geography you can travel to physically. You can stand in the future. You can touch prehistoric rocks. You can exist in the void. Second, time has a clear ending point. The white void represents where time stops totally. Eventually everything ends. All existence, all reality, all matter, all life. Time reaches a final end. Nothing exists beyond that point. Just void. Just nothingness. Third, he's seen where everything leads finally. This knowledge changes him. He's traumatized by it. He can never forget it. The Chrome future shows one possible timeline result. Civilization moves forward steadily. Technology gets way better. Life keeps moving forward. Progress happens. Society does well. This is hopeful. This suggests the future can be really good. Descendants do well. Cities shine. Everything works well. But the void shows the final endpoint no matter what. Even the Chrome future ends eventually. Even the most advanced civilization gets to the void. This makes tension between hope and doom. The future is bright for a while, but everything ends eventually. Nothing lasts forever. Not even the most advanced, perfect civilization. The prehistoric past shows the very beginning of everything, before civilization existed, before language grew, before culture formed. Life was primitive, simple, basic, just survival. This is where everything started at first. SpongeBob and Patrick existed in some primitive form even millions of years ago. What they basically are is eternal somehow. They exist in all time periods, past, present, and future. This suggests some things stay the same across all time. Some patterns repeat forever. Some characters are eternal and unchanging. The fact Spongetron and Patron look totally the same as SpongeBob and Patrick is very weird. They say they're distant descendants, but they're the same in every way. Same appearance, same personality, same voice, same everything. This suggests either genetics work totally differently in this world, or something about SpongeBob and Patrick is really eternal. Maybe they don't have normal descendants. Maybe they come back to life forever. Maybe they exist in all time periods at the same time. Maybe time is circular and they're literally the same beings repeating. The time loop Squidward goes through suggests time definitely isn't straight. He keeps ending up in the same exact places no matter what he does. Void, prehistory. Void, prehistory. Like he's stuck in a cycle. Like these are the only real endpoints that truly exist. The only real destinations. Everything else is just between them. Temporary. This suggests time might loop forever. History might repeat forever. The same events might happen over and over forever. Eternal recurrence. The same patterns coming up over and over across infinite time. This connects to other episodes showing different multiple futures. Spongehenge shows a totally different future than SB129. Different outcomes, different endpoints, different fates. Maybe both exist. Maybe time splits into multiple possibilities. Maybe it's not a single line, but a web. Multiple timelines, multiple possibilities all existing. The Chrome future is one branch. The statue future is another branch. The void is where all branches end eventually, no matter what. All timelines get to the void. That's the only total certainty. The fact Squidward comes back to the exact moment he left is important. No time passed in his timeline at all. He went through thousands of years. He saw the future. He saw the past. He saw the end of time. But when he came back, the freezer door just opened. SpongeBob and Patrick are still there, asking him to play. No time moved forward at all in his present. This suggests time works differently depending on where you are physically. Time in the freezer stopped. Time outside the freezer kept going normally. But time in the future and past also exists at the same time. All times exist at once. You just need the right way to get to them. Looking at time travel in SpongeBob shows the show treats time as flexible and maybe repeating instead of fixed. The white void represents final ending. The chrome future represents temporary progress. The prehistoric past represents eternal beginning. Squidward went through all of them. He saw the full scope of time, beginning to end. He saw that time might loop forever, that patterns repeat, that some things are eternal, that everything ends in void eventually. This is a surprisingly deep look at time and existence for a comedy show. It suggests fate might be repeating. History might repeat. Some patterns are eternal across all time. And finally, everything ends in total nothingness. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Up next is Mermaid Man as Mythic Hero. Section 9. Mermaid Man as Mythic Hero. Throughout the series, characters treat Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy as legendary figures. They're not just retired superheroes living in a nursing home. They're mythic heroes with relics and stories of bravery. Younger generations look up to them completely. They collect their stuff obsessively. They know their stories by heart. This makes a hero worship culture like how ancient cultures treated legendary warriors. Understanding Mermaid Man shows how mythic heroes work in Bikini Bottom. Mythic heroes show up in every culture throughout human history. Hercules in Greek mythology did 12 impossible labors. King Arthur in British legends pulled the sword from the stone and united England. Gilgamesh in ancient Mesopotamia searched for immortality. Beowulf fought monsters to save kingdoms. These heroes did great deeds that seemed impossible for normal people. They fought monsters no one else could defeat. They saved entire civilizations from destruction. They became legends while they were alive. Stories about them spread far and wide. People told and retold their adventures around fires. The heroes became bigger than life through storytelling. They became symbols of strength and goodness. They became goals people wanted to reach. Their weapons and belongings became sacred relics kept carefully. Their actions became moral lessons parents taught kids. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy work exactly this way in Bikini Bottom. They're living legends walking among ordinary citizens. They did heroic deeds many years ago when they were young. Now they're old and retired and feeble. But their legend continues strong. People worship them. People collect their merchandise. People know their stories by heart and can recite them. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy show up in many episodes across the whole series. They're elderly superheroes living in Shady Shoals Rest Home. Mermaid Man is the leader and main hero. He's super old and clearly senile. He forgets things all the time throughout episodes. He confuses reality with television shows. He has dementia clearly affecting his memory and judgment. Barnacle Boy is his loyal sidekick and partner. He's also very old, but mentally sharper. He's bitter about still being called boy when he's clearly old. He wants proper respect for his age. They're both way past their prime physically. They can barely fight anymore when needed. They struggle with basic tasks like walking. They need help constantly from nursing home staff. But despite being old and weak and confused, they're treated as total legends by society, as heroes, as the greatest fighters Bikini Bottom ever made in its history. SpongeBob and Patrick worship them totally without question. They know absolutely everything about them. They've watched their old television show countless times. The Adventures of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy was a popular TV show in Bikini Bottom that aired years ago. It showed their heroic adventures fighting evil, fighting dangerous villains, saving innocent people, protecting the whole ocean from threats. SpongeBob has every single episode memorized perfectly. He can quote exact lines word for word. He knows specific plots in detail. He knows small character details. He collects merchandise obsessively. He has action figures shown off carefully. He has posters covering his walls. He has memorabilia everywhere in his house. This is total hero worship. This is religious-level devotion to legendary figures. The episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy brings them in to viewers. SpongeBob and Patrick decide to visit them at Shady Shoals Rest Home. They're super excited to meet their childhood heroes. They find two confused old men sitting and watching TV quietly. Mermaid Man doesn't recognize them at all. He's confused by strangers. He thinks they're bad guys attacking. He tries to attack them weakly. His punches are weak. Patrick and SpongeBob are totally thrilled anyway. They're meeting their idols in person. They ask excitedly for autographs. They ask for stories about old adventures. They want to hear first-hand accounts. Mermaid Man tells confused, rambling stories that don't make total sense. Barnacle Boy corrects him a lot on details. They still have relics from their hero days kept carefully. Their original costumes, their utility belts with gadgets, their invisible boatmobile vehicle. These items are treated as sacred objects by SpongeBob. SpongeBob touches them respectfully like holy relics. He handles them super carefully with shaking hands. Later episodes show their equipment actually has real power. The utility belt has different working gadgets. Each button does something different and specific. The orb of confusion, the small ray that shrinks things, the aqua glove that shoots water. These aren't just props or toys. They actually work perfectly. They have real supernatural power. In Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 4, SpongeBob accidentally shrinks the whole city using the belt's small ray. Everyone and everything becomes tiny. The belt is clearly a powerful magical object, a relic from the legendary age of heroes. It still works perfectly after all these years. It still has full power. This is exactly like legendary weapons from ancient mythology. Excalibur didn't stop being powerful and magical when King Arthur died. Thor's hammer Mjolnir is still mighty and unbreakable. Mermaid Man's utility belt still works totally. The relics keep their full power across time. The invisible boatmobile is another sacred relic from the hero age. It's their personal vehicle from their crime-fighting days. It's totally invisible to the eye. You can't see it at all when looking, but it's physically real and solid. It works perfectly. They can still drive it around. SpongeBob and Patrick borrow it without permission in one episode. They crash it into things over and over. They damage an invisible vehicle they can't see. The boatmobile is treated as super precious, as can't be replaced, as a legendary object from the golden age of heroes. People throughout town know about it from stories and legends. Kids play pretend games with invisible vehicles copying it. The villains Mermaid Man fought when he was young became legends too. The Dirty Bubble, Man Ray, the Atomic Flounder, Jumbo Shrimp. These villains are known throughout all of Bikini Bottom. Everyone knows their names by reputation. Everyone knows what evil deeds they did. They're part of the total legend. The heroes need villains to fight. The stories need conflict and danger. The villains became famous and legendary through their epic battles with Mermaid Man. Now they're mostly retired too, or locked up. Man Ray is frozen solid in tartar sauce as punishment. The Dirty Bubble shows up sometimes, causing small trouble. They're old enemies from legendary battles that shaped history. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy V shows other heroes existed during that time too. The International Justice League of Super Acquaintances. Other heroes from that golden age. The Quickster, who runs fast. Captain Magma, who controls lava. The Elastic Waistband, who stretches. Miss Appear, who turns invisible. They were a full team. They fought together against big threats. They had adventures together, saving the world. But Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are way the most famous, the most legendary, the most remembered by society. The other heroes faded into being mostly forgotten. But Mermaid Man's legend stayed strong across generations. This is exactly how mythology works in practice. Some heroes become main legends everyone knows. Others fade into being forgotten and are forgotten. Not everyone gets remembered the same by history. The way young characters treat them shows total religious devotion. SpongeBob literally bows to them when meeting. He speaks respectfully, like talking to gods. He treasures totally everything they say. Patrick does exactly the same. They're not just casual fans. But their legends outlast their physical bodies. People remember the young, strong hero even when looking right at the old, weak, confused man. The legend and the reality exist together in the same person. Their superhero costumes are treated as sacred clothes with power. Putting on Mermaid Man's costume feels right away powerful to anyone. SpongeBob wears it in one episode when Mermaid Man isn't available. He feels like a real hero right away when wearing it. The costume seems to have power. Not really magical power, but deep symbolic power. It represents something greater. It connects the wearer directly to the legend. This is exactly like holy robes or sacred armor in religions. The physical object has meaning way beyond what it's made of. The TV show about their adventures serves as scripture for their legend. It's the official record of their greatest deeds. People watch it over and over across their lives. They study it carefully. They learn moral lessons from it. They memorize whole episodes. It's how the legend spreads to new generations. It's how kids learn about the heroes. The show works like religious texts and holy scriptures. It keeps the mythology. It spreads it. Without the show being shown and kept, the legend might slowly fade. But because it's permanently recorded, it lasts forever. Mermaid Man's famous battle cry, "Evil!" has become totally iconic in culture. Everyone in Bikini Bottom knows it. Everyone can copy his voice saying it. It's a catchphrase that goes beyond him personally. It's part of general culture now. This is exactly how legendary heroes work in history. Their specific words become famous quotes. Their phrases become repeated sayings. People repeat them in daily life. They become part of common language. Evil is Mermaid Man's permanent contribution to Bikini Bottom culture and language. The relationship between hero and sidekick is important to the legend too. Mermaid Man is always the leader and main hero. Barnacle Boy is always the helper and assistant. This setup shows up in many mythologies throughout history. Hercules had companions on his journeys. King Arthur had Knights of the Round Table. Batman has Robin. Heroes often have helpers who help them. The helper becomes part of the legend too automatically. But they're always second in importance. Always and also. Always the sidekick. Barnacle Boy struggles with this reality. He wants equal recognition and respect. He wants to be thought of as a hero, not just a sidekick. But the legend has already set up the ranking firmly. Changing what the public thinks is super hard. When villains reform or retire totally, the heroes lose their purpose. Man Ray tries to become good in one episode. If all the villains are gone, what do heroes actually do? The legends were built totally on conflict. Heroes fighting villains, good versus evil, clear battles. Without villains to fight, heroes aren't needed anymore. This life purpose crisis affects Mermaid Man personally. He's retired specifically because there are no more big villains to fight. The age of heroes ended. Now it's the age of ordinary, peaceful life. But SpongeBob and Patrick really badly try to recreate that heroic age. They want adventures like the TV show. They want to fight evil like the old days. They drag the old heroes out of comfortable retirement. They make situations where heroism seems needed. They're trying to bring back the mythic age artificially. They want to live in legendary times like the stories. Even though that time is gone forever, young people want it back. The retirement home is sadly where legends go to die slowly. Other retired heroes might be living there too. Other people who did great things decades ago. Now they're just old. Now they're mostly forgotten by society. The retirement home is deeply sad. It's where glory fades totally. It's where legends become ordinary old people waiting to die. But Mermaid Man escaped this fate partly. His legend lives on strongly through devoted fans, through collected stuff, through the kept TV show. He's still remembered. He's still actively worshipped. Even stuck in the retirement home, he's legendary. Looking at Mermaid Man shows how mythic heroes work in Bikini Bottom. They did great deeds in the far past. Those deeds became legends through storytelling. The legends spread through stories and recorded media. People worship the heroes religiously. They collect sacred relics. They know the stories perfectly. The heroes become bigger than life. They become symbols of goodness and strength. Even when they're old and weak and confused, the legend stays powerful. This is how hero worship works. This is how mythology builds around real people who did great things. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are living myths walking among ordinary citizens. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on, we have Christmas Belief Becoming Reality.
Section 10.
Christmas Belief Becoming Reality. In Christmas Who, Bikini Bottom adopts Christmas belief, and the story shows that their collective belief in Santa Claus makes real results in the story world. Faith causes real effects on events. Belief changes social behavior. This episode shows how belief systems can become real through collective faith. Understanding Christmas in Bikini Bottom shows how faith makes its own reality. Religious belief works mainly through faith in things totally unseen. People believe in gods they can't physically see. They believe in an afterlife they can't scientifically prove exists. They believe in spiritual forces they can't measure with tools. This belief powerfully changes behavior anyway. It makes close communities. It sets up repeated rituals. It shapes whole cultures. The belief becomes basically real through its effects, even if the thing believed in can't be objectively proven. Christmas in Bikini Bottom works exactly this way. Characters believe in Santa Claus. This belief changes totally everything. It makes brand new traditions. It changes how people act toward each other. It changes the whole town culturally. The belief becomes basically real through collective faith. Christmas Who starts with Bikini Bottom not knowing what Christmas is at all. They've never heard of it ever. It doesn't exist anywhere in their culture. No one celebrates it. No one knows the traditions. SpongeBob somehow learns about it from somewhere. Maybe he saw something floating down from the surface world. Maybe he read about it in a book. The episode doesn't explain clearly where his knowledge comes from, but he definitely knows about Christmas somehow. He knows about Santa Claus, he knows about presents and decorations, he knows about goodwill and being generous. He's super excited about it. He wants to celebrate it personally. He wants to share it with totally everyone. SpongeBob tells Patrick about Christmas first, before anyone else. He explains the whole thing in detail. There's a magical being called Santa Claus. He lives far away at the North Pole. He makes toys all year long in his workshop. On Christmas Eve, he delivers them to everyone who's been good. He flies through the sky in a sleigh pulled by flying reindeer. He comes down chimneys somehow. He leaves presents for kids. He knows if you've been good or bad all year. He makes a list and checks it twice, carefully. Patrick listens totally amazed. This sounds totally incredible. This sounds magical and wonderful. He believes right away, without question. He doesn't ask for proof. He accepts it totally on faith. They both believe in Santa now. They spread the belief actively to others throughout town. SpongeBob goes door to door telling everyone about Christmas excitedly. He explains all the traditions. He teaches them Christmas songs. He shows them how to decorate right. He describes Santa Claus in detail. Most people don't believe at first naturally. Squidward especially. He thinks it's total nonsense. A magical gift giver who travels the whole world in one single night? Physically impossible. Ridiculous. Childish fantasy. But SpongeBob's excitement is really contagious. Other people slowly start believing. They get excited. They want to join in. They want presents. They want magic in their lives. They want something wonderful to believe in. The whole town changes fast and a lot. Everyone starts decorating their houses in detail. They hang colorful lights everywhere. They put up trees in their homes. They make ornaments by hand. They make decorations from available ocean materials. Coral trees instead of pine trees, shells instead of tinsel, seaweed instead of garland. Everything changed creatively to underwater life. But the spirit is exactly the same. The town becomes festive overnight, colorful, bright, happy, joyful. Everyone is excited. Everyone is getting ready excitedly for Santa coming. Everyone believes totally he's coming. The collective belief makes a shared culture instantly. Christmas becomes real in Bikini Bottom through pure belief alone. They get ready presents for each other following tradition. SpongeBob makes gifts carefully by hand. He puts real thought into them. He thinks about what each person would like. He wraps them carefully with ribbons. Others do the same throughout town. The gift-giving tradition catches on right away and spreads. People are generous with each other. They're kind. They're thinking about others instead of themselves. This is what Christmas is supposed to do morally. It makes people better versions of themselves, more giving, more loving, more thoughtful. The belief is already changing behavior in a good way. Even before Santa actually shows up, Christmas is having real effects you can see. Christmas Eve gets here finally. Everyone waits excitedly all night. They wrote letters to Santa carefully. They've been good all year. They decorated beautifully. They got ready. They believed with their whole hearts. Now they wait. The long night passes slowly. Morning comes. No presents showed up. No Santa came. No magic happened. Nothing changed. The houses are still just decorated. No gifts showed up overnight. People are deeply disappointed. They're really sad. They feel fooled. They feel dumb for believing. Maybe Christmas isn't real after all. Maybe Santa doesn't actually exist. Maybe it was all just a nice story. Squidward is totally proven right in his doubt. He was right to doubt. He didn't waste time believing in nonsense. He didn't get his hopes up foolishly. He didn't decorate or get ready. But he sees how super sad everyone is now. Especially SpongeBob. SpongeBob truly believed with his whole heart. He really thought Santa would come. He convinced the whole town to believe. Now everyone is heartbroken. Their faith was let down. Squidward actually feels bad seeing this. He didn't mean for everyone to be this sad. He has a sudden idea. He'll dress up as Santa himself. He'll give everyone presents personally. He'll make them happy again. Not because he believes in magic, but because they do. And their belief matters. Their happiness matters. Squidward puts on a Santa costume he makes. He makes a list of everyone in town carefully. He gathers presents from his own stuff. He makes toys from things he has around. He works all night long without sleep. He goes door to door, leaving gifts quietly. He's doing exactly what Santa would do. He's doing the job. He's making the belief real through personal action. People wake up on Christmas morning. They find presents waiting. They're totally amazed. Santa came after all. He's real. He exists. Their belief was totally right. They celebrate joyfully. They're super happy. They thank Santa out loud. They don't know it's actually Squidward. They think it's the real, magical Santa Claus. Then something really magical happens that changes everything. The real, actual Santa Claus shows up in Bikini Bottom. He's been visiting the surface world delivering presents. He heard somehow about this underwater town celebrating Christmas. He's curious about it. He decides to come visit. He rides his magical sleigh underwater somehow. Magic makes it work. He gets there. Everyone sees him clearly. The real Santa. Not Squidward in costume. The actual magical being from legends. He exists. He's physically real. He came specifically because they believed. Their collective faith made him know about them. He brings more presents in his bag. He gives gifts to everyone generously. He thanks them warmly for believing. He promises for real to come every year now. Their belief brought Santa to Bikini Bottom. This ending shows something key about how belief works in this world. The town together believed in Santa. This belief had real effects you could see even before Santa physically showed up. It changed behavior throughout society. It made generosity. It brought joy and happiness. It set up new traditions. The belief made community bonds. Then, amazingly, the belief became literally physically real. Santa actually came. Their faith made him appear. This strongly suggests belief can make reality in Bikini Bottom. If enough people believe something strongly enough together, it becomes true. It becomes physically real. It appears in reality. This is basically how religion works in general practice. People believe in something they can't see. That belief changes their lives in ways you can measure. They live by the belief. They make communities around shared belief. They set up rituals. They build lasting traditions. The thing they believe in becomes basically real through these effects you can measure. Whether a God objectively exists doesn't matter practically if belief in that God makes real change you can measure in the world. The belief is basically real no matter what the objective truth is. Christmas in Bikini Bottom shows this idea clearly. Santa might not have existed before their belief, but collective belief brought him into existence, or it brought him to Bikini Bottom specifically. Faith has creative power. The fact Squidward acted as Santa before real Santa showed up is super important. He did the job completely. He did exactly what Santa would do. He gave gifts generously. He spread joy and happiness. In that moment, he was basically Santa. The job is what actually matters. The belief makes the need for the job. Someone fills it. Whether it's the real magical Santa or someone playing the part doesn't matter to the effects you can measure. The gifts are real. The joy is real. The generosity is real. The job makes reality no matter who fills it. This also shows collective belief is way more powerful than individual belief alone. One single person believing in Santa doesn't make him real. But a whole town believing together? That has huge power. That makes effects you can measure. That can make things appear physically. Collective faith is way stronger than individual faith. When a whole community believes together, they make shared reality. They make things real through everyone agreeing. The change of the whole town shows belief makes culture from nothing. Christmas didn't exist in Bikini Bottom before at all. Now it does totally. It's part of their annual cycle. It's part of their traditions. It's part of who they are as a community. All because they together decided to believe. They adopted a belief system together. That system changed them totally. This is exactly how new religions spread in history. Someone teaches them to new people. People choose to believe. The belief spreads through communities. Culture changes around the belief. New traditions form. The belief becomes stuck permanently in society. The Christmas songs and decorations show ritual behavior making belief stronger. Singing Christmas songs together over and over, decorating together as a community. These are rituals. They're repetitive actions that make belief stronger through joining in. Every time you sing a Christmas song, you make the belief in Christmas stronger. Every time you decorate, you actively join in the faith. Rituals make beliefs stick in minds. They make them real through repeated physical action. The gift-giving shows belief-changing behavior in right and wrong ways. Christmas makes people more generous naturally, more thoughtful toward others, more kind. This is what belief systems are supposed to do ideally. They're supposed to make people better versions of themselves. Whether through fear of punishment or hope of reward or simple inspiration, belief should make behavior better. Christmas in Bikini Bottom does exactly this. People become really better because they believe. The disappointment when Santa didn't come shows the real danger of faith. Belief without payoff makes despair. If you believe strongly and nothing happens, you're emotionally crushed. This is the real risk of faith. You invest emotionally. You hope. You trust. If it doesn't work out, you're devastated. SpongeBob and the town went through this. They believed so hard. Then, nothing. The disappointment was real and painful. But Squidward filling the job shows community can make belief real. Even if the magical thing doesn't happen, people can make it happen themselves. They can be the belief. They can make the effects themselves through action. Squidward became Santa through generous action. He made Christmas real through personal generosity. The community can make what they believe in appear through collective action. They don't really need magic. They can be the magic themselves. Then, real Santa showing up shows that real, pure faith can be rewarded. Their belief was pure and sincere. Their celebration was heartfelt and real. This pulled actual Santa to them. Real faith has real power. It can reach beyond the normal physical world. It can touch the divine or magical. Their collective pure belief brought something really real into being. This proves faith works. It shows belief isn't foolish. It can make actual results you can measure. Looking at Christmas in Bikini Bottom shows that belief systems can become physically real through collective faith. A town believed together. That belief changed them. It made traditions. It made behavior better. It built community. Then their faith made something physically real appear. Santa became real for them through belief. This shows how religious belief works. Faith makes effects. Those effects make the belief basically real. Whether the object of belief existed before doesn't matter. Belief brings it into reality through what happens. Christmas became real in Bikini Bottom through faith alone. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Next up is Krabby Patty ritualization. Section 11. Krabby Patty ritualization. Episodes like Pickles and Krusty Krab training video show the Krabby Patty formula treated with ritual secrecy. It's almost sacred in town culture. The formula is protected like a holy relic. It's hidden in a secure safe. Only Mr. Krabs knows it. People try really hard to steal it. The whole town economy revolves around this sandwich. Understanding the Krabby Patty shows how objects become sacred through secrecy and devotion. Sacred objects show up in religions throughout human history across all cultures. The Holy Grail in Christian tradition, the Ark of the Covenant in Judaism, sacred texts like the Torah or the Quran, Buddhist relics from enlightened masters. These objects are treated with extreme respect and care. They're protected carefully from harm or theft. They're hidden from unworthy eyes. Only special, chosen people can get to them. The objects themselves might be physically ordinary, a cup, a wooden box, a book, a piece of bone, but belief makes them sacred. Secrecy makes them powerful. Devotion makes them important. The Krabby Patty formula works exactly this way. It's just a recipe on paper. It's just a list of ingredients for a sandwich. But the extreme secrecy around it makes it sacred. The intense protection makes it valuable. The total devotion makes it powerful. The Krabby Patty itself is totally central to Bikini Bottom culture and economy. It's not just a sandwich people eat for lunch. It's the sandwich. The best food anyone has ever tasted in their lives. People line up daily outside the Krusty Krab to buy them. They pay money gladly without complaint. They wait in long lines patiently. They travel from faraway parts of the ocean just to eat one. The Krabby Patty is famous throughout the whole ocean. Everyone everywhere knows about it. Everyone wants one really badly. The Krusty Krab is successful and makes money just because of this one sandwich. Without it, the restaurant would be totally nothing. Mr. Krabs would be poor and not successful. The whole business depends totally on one sandwich recipe. The formula is Mr. Krabs' single most valuable thing he owns. More valuable than money, even though he loves money. He keeps it locked in a heavy safe. The safe is hidden behind a picture. Only he knows the combination numbers. Only he can open it safely. He checks on it all the time throughout the day. He makes sure it's still there untouched. He's deeply paranoid about someone stealing it. This paranoia is totally justified by reality. Plankton tries to steal it all the time in almost every episode. Every episode with Plankton involves some complicated plan to get the formula. He's dedicated his whole adult life to stealing it. He's tried literally thousands of different ways over the years. All have failed totally. But he keeps trying forever. He's totally obsessed with getting it. Krusty Krab training video shows the formula being treated as deeply sacred. The whole episode is styled like an educational training video for new employees. It explains how the Krusty Krab works. It teaches the company history. It shows the proper steps. It shows how to serve customers. It builds up slowly and on purpose to showing the secret formula. The video treats this like the single most important moment. The background music swells dramatically. The narrator's voice gets super serious. Everything leads to this reveal. The tension builds. The moment gets close. Then, at the very last second, right before showing it, the video cuts off suddenly. The formula isn't shown at all. The audience doesn't get to see it. This is totally on purpose. The formula must stay secret, totally. Even in an official training video, it can't be shown. This is sacred knowledge that can't be shared with anyone. The making of a Krabby Patty follows strict ritual steps that never change. Pickles shows this clearly and directly. SpongeBob makes Krabby Patties the exact same way every single time. There's a specific order that must be followed. Bottom bun, patty, ketchup, mustard, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions, tomatoes, top bun. This exact order never changes, ever. It's always exactly the same, every single time. This is ritual behavior. These are sacred steps that must be followed exactly. When SpongeBob accidentally forgets the pickles in pickles, it totally breaks the ritual. He can't remember the proper order anymore. He's lost the sacred knowledge. He has a total mental breakdown. He can't work at all without knowing the ritual perfectly. His whole identity falls apart. The way Mr. Krabs protects the formula shows real religious devotion. He doesn't just lock it up and forget about it. He guards it personally and actively. He's willing to die protecting it from enemies. In multiple episodes across seasons, villains threaten him directly. They demand the formula. He refuses totally every single time, even under torture, even under threat of death, even when his life is in danger. He won't give it up. This is martyr-level devotion. This is dying for your faith. The formula is more important to him than his own life. This makes it totally sacred. The fact Plankton wants it so badly proves its huge power. Plankton is highly intelligent. He's a trained scientist with education. He could probably make his own good sandwich recipe through trying different things. But he doesn't want just any recipe at all. He wants the Krabby Patty formula specifically. He believes it holds special, unique power. He believes it's the key to instant success. This belief drives his whole existence. His whole life revolves around getting this one formula. This is religious obsession. This is dedicating your whole life to getting something sacred. The extreme secrecy makes mythology around the formula. Nobody knows what's actually in it except Mr. Krabs alone. This makes endless guessing throughout town. People wonder all the time. People make theories. What makes it so super special? What's the secret ingredient? Is there something magical in it? The unknown makes stories naturally, makes legends. The more secret something is, the more powerful it becomes in people's minds. If everyone knew the formula, it would lose all power. But because it's totally secret, it stays maximally powerful. Secrecy keeps sacredness. Episodes show people going to extreme lengths for Krabby Patties. They'll do totally anything to get one. They'll wait hours in line. They'll pay high prices without complaint. They'll fight each other violently over the last one. This is devotion to the physical object. Not just the formula, the actual sandwich itself is respected deeply. People treat eating a Krabby Patty as special, as meaningful, as important to their lives. It's not just eating food, it's experiencing something sacred. It's being part of something bigger. The Krusty Krab itself becomes a kind of temple through this process. It's where the sacred sandwich is made and served daily. It's where the ritual happens. People come to this specific place. They could eat anywhere, but they come here, to this particular restaurant, to experience the Krabby Patty. The location becomes sacred through what happens there over and over, like a church or temple. The building itself isn't special physically, but what happens inside makes it spiritually important. SpongeBob as the fry cook becomes a kind of priest in this system. He's the one who does the ritual daily. He makes the sacred sandwich. He follows the sacred steps exactly. He serves it to people. He's the go-between for the formula and the people. Mr. Krabs has the secret formula. The people want Krabby Patties. SpongeBob bridges that gap perfectly. He's trusted with making them correctly. He's the only employee Mr. Krabs truly trusts totally. This trust is important. It's like being made into priesthood. The training needed to make Krabby Patties right is a lot and serious. SpongeBob went to cooking school for years. He studied formal ways. He practiced all the time. He perfected his way. This is like religious training for priests, learning the sacred rituals right, mastering the correct way to do things. Not just anyone can make a Krabby Patty correctly. It needs real skill, needs dedication, needs proper formal training. This makes it exclusive, makes it special, makes it sacred. When SpongeBob loses his ability to make them correctly in pickles, he loses his whole identity. He can't work at all. He's nothing without this ability. His whole life is making Krabby Patties. His whole purpose is serving this sacred food. When he can't do it anymore, he falls apart totally. He becomes depressed. He can't work. He can't think. This shows how deeply his identity is tied to the ritual. He's not just doing a job for money. He's doing a sacred job. Losing that job destroys him. The competition between Krusty Krab and Chum Bucket focuses totally on the formula. Plankton really badly wants customers. He wants success and wealth. He believes the formula is the key to everything. He believes if he has it, he'll succeed automatically. This shows he understands the formula's sacred power clearly. It's not just a recipe for food. It's the source of all success. It's magical. It's powerful. Getting it would change everything about his life. The fact nobody has successfully stolen it forever shows it's protected by more than just locks. Mr. Krabs' devotion protects it. SpongeBob's loyalty protects it. The secrecy protects it. Every attempt to steal it fails eventually. Plankton has tried totally everything. Science, trickery, force, mind control, robots. Nothing ever works long term. The formula is protected by devotion, by faith, by sacred duty. This spiritual protection is more powerful than physical security. Episodes where the formula is temporarily lost or stolen make instant crisis. Plankton's army shows Plankton almost getting it. The whole town is in danger. If Plankton gets the formula, everything changes forever. The Krusty Krab falls. The balance of power shifts totally. This is apocalyptic. This is the end of an era. The formula being stolen would be catastrophic, like a sacred relic being messed with. The crisis is real and serious. When the formula is gotten back and returned safely, there's relief and celebration. Order is fixed. The sacred object is safe again. The ritual can keep going normally. People can keep eating Krabby Patties. Life can go on normally. The formula being safe means the world is safe. This connection between object and world order is deeply religious. The sacred object keeps cosmic order. Losing it would make chaos. The formula represents Mr. Krabs' legacy to the world. It's what he'll pass down eventually to future generations. It's what he gives to civilization. He made this recipe. He built an empire around it. This is his living forever. Long after he's dead, the formula will stay. The Krabby Patty will continue. People will remember him through this sandwich. This is like religious founders. Their teachings outlive them. Their legacy continues through followers. Mr. Krabs' legacy is the formula. The community bonds through shared love of Krabby Patties. Everyone in town eats them regularly. Everyone loves them. This makes common ground, shared experience. When people talk about Krabby Patties, everyone understands. Everyone has eaten them. Everyone knows they're special. This shared experience makes community identity. They're Bikini Bottom citizens. They eat Krabby Patties. That's part of who they are, together. The formula also represents knowledge and power. Whoever has it has power. This is why it's so valuable. This is why Plankton wants it really badly. Knowledge is power. Sacred knowledge is sacred power. Mr. Krabs guards this knowledge jealously. He doesn't share it. This makes him powerful. This gives him control. If he shared it, he'd lose power. The secrecy keeps his position. Looking at the Krabby Patty formula shows it works exactly as a sacred object. It's protected with extreme secrecy. It's valued above all else. It's the center of devotion. People structure their whole lives around it. Mr. Krabs guards it religiously. SpongeBob serves it in a ritual way. Plankton chases it obsessively. The town revolves around it totally. The formula has power beyond just being a recipe. It's sacred. It's central to identity. It's protected by faith. This is how sacred objects work in religions. The Krabby Patty formula is Bikini Bottom's holy relic. Before we move on, make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying this breakdown. Moving on to Combined Myth Structure of Bikini Bottom. Section 12. Combined Myth Structure of Bikini Bottom. Looking at all these elements together shows a complete myth structure underneath Bikini Bottom's world. Neptune represents divine authority. The Flying Dutchman represents death and the afterlife. Davy Jones's locker represents punishment. Triton represents divine succession. Mermaid Man represents heroic legends. The magic conch represents oracles. Urban legends represent folklore. Time travel represents fate. Christmas represents belief making reality. The Krabby Patty represents sacred objects. All of these make a full spiritual system. Understanding this combined structure shows Bikini Bottom has complete mythology. Complete mythologies exist in all major cultures throughout human history. Greek mythology has gods living on Mount Olympus, ruling everything. It has heroes like Hercules doing impossible labors. It has the underworld, ruled by Hades, where souls go. It has oracles like Delphi, giving prophecies about the future. It has sacred objects, like the golden fleece that heroes quest for. All these elements work together, making a complete system that explains everything. Norse mythology has Odin and the gods in Asgard. It has heroes like Beowulf fighting monsters. It has the underworld Hel, where the dead live. It has prophecy and fate through the Norns who weave destiny. It has sacred objects like Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. Egyptian mythology has Ra and the sun gods ruling the sky. It has the afterlife journey through the underworld. It has sacred objects and complicated rituals for the dead. Hindu mythology has Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. It has heroes in the Mahabharata. Below him is the Flying Dutchman as death's representative and enforcer. He can curse people to suffer. He can turn living beings into ghosts. He controls the boundary between life and death totally. He's super powerful, but not god level like Neptune. Davy Jones controls a whole punishment place. He's similar to the Dutchman in raw power. Triton is divine by birth, but rejected his job. He has god power inherited from Neptune, but doesn't use it. He could be at the top, but chose not to be. Mermaid Man was a legendary hero when he was young. Heroes are clearly below gods and death spirits in the ranking. They're mortal, but exceptional. They do great deeds, but they age and die. Regular citizens are at the very bottom of everything. They're subject to all these higher powers. They can't fight gods. They can't escape death. They worship and obey. This ranking makes order in the spiritual world everyone understands. Everyone has a specific job they must play. Everyone has a place in the system. The gods rule from above, making big decisions. Death spirits manage the afterlife and punish the bad. Heroes inspire through their deeds and protect the weak. Citizens worship and obey and live their lives. This structure has been stable for many generations. It's been this way for a very long time. It will continue this way far into the future. This stability is key for mythology to work. People need to understand where they fit in the world. They need to know the rules that control them. They need to know who has power over them and why. The ranking gives this understanding clearly and simply. The spiritual geography is also super clear when putting all elements together. The surface world exists above the ocean where humans live. Bikini Bottom exists on the ocean floor where most citizens live. Neptune's castle exists somewhere separate from town in its own place. The Flying Dutchman's ship floats above the city between levels. Davy Jones's locker exists below or outside normal space totally. The white void from time travel exists at the total end of time itself. Spongehenge exists in the far future, thousands of years ahead. The prehistoric past exists millions of years back. These are all different spiritual spaces taking up different levels of reality stacked on each other. You can move between them under certain specific conditions with the right tools or powers, but they're totally distinct. They're separate places with totally different rules controlling them. This geography makes a layered reality like a cake. Physical Bikini Bottom is where most daily life happens for citizens, normal work and eating and sleeping. But other places exist at the same time in parallel. The spiritual place where ghosts work and haunt, the divine place where Neptune rules and judges, the punishment place where wrongdoers go forever, the future place where time travelers visit. the past place where prehistoric beings lived. All these layers stack together vertically. They overlap in certain places. They interact sometimes, but they're basically distinct levels of existence with boundaries between them. The rules controlling these places are consistent across episodes and seasons. This consistency is key. Ghosts can always go through solid objects. Gods always have creation power. Time travel always works through machines or freezing. Belief can always make reality appear when collective. Curses are always real and binding. These rules don't change randomly between episodes. They're totally reliable. Characters know them and act that way. Viewers learn them over time through repeated showing. Consistency makes the mythology actually work as a system. If rules changed randomly between episodes, it wouldn't be a system at all. It would be chaos. But because rules stay totally consistent, it's a real working mythology that works predictably. Different supernatural forces can interact without destroying each other. The Flying Dutchman knows about Neptune personally. They're aware of each other existing and their power. They don't fight because they have totally different areas of authority. Neptune controls the living ocean and its citizens. The Dutchman controls death and ghosts and the afterlife. They exist together peacefully without competing. This is super important for stability. Different spiritual authorities can exist together without always fighting if they have separate, clear jobs that don't overlap. This stops cosmic chaos and war. The job of belief is totally central to everything in the system. Belief in the magic conch gives it real power to guide. Belief in Santa made him physically real and brought him to town. Belief in heroes keeps their legends alive across generations. Belief in the Krabby Patty makes it sacred instead of ordinary food. Belief actively shapes reality in Bikini Bottom in ways you can measure. What people believe together becomes physically real. This makes faith super powerful beyond just comfort. It's not just comforting, it's creative. It makes things appear physically in the world. This puts huge power in the hands of ordinary citizens. Their collective belief actually shapes the world around them. But this also means belief needs serious responsibility. If people believe wrong things become real and dangerous. If they believe in evil, evil appears and harms people. The town must believe correctly, must believe in good things, must keep proper beliefs that help instead of hurt. This makes real moral pressure on everyone. Belief isn't just personal and private. It affects everyone in the community. What you believe matters to the whole town. Your beliefs can help or hurt others. The sacred objects tie everything together physically. Neptune's trident channels divine power. The Flying Dutchman's ship crosses between life and death. Mermaid Man's utility belt has heroic power. The invisible boatmobile represents legendary technology. The magic conch gives oracle guidance. The Krabby Patty formula holds sacred knowledge. These objects all have real power you can measure. They're relics from different parts of the mythology. They prove the mythology is real and not just stories. You can actually touch these objects. You can see them with your eyes. You can use them if you can get to them. They make the spiritual world touchable and real. They bridge abstract belief and physical reality perfectly. The rituals keep the whole system across time, making Krabby Patties the exact same way every single time. Asking the magic conch person before making decisions. Celebrating Christmas every day. Celebrating in better materials, who specifically about previously. Then 73 another moments. Asking the magic conchbasis before people making decisions. Asking the magic conchbasis before people making decisions. Asking the magic conchbasis before people do that. Maybe this is the own dreams in the people of your time. Asking the magic consciousness before people do that? This isn't any little junk trailer before something that she's tried to do. Asking the magic consciousness before people do that? This is the biggest for little grade, which the news ordered to this strength, before people did the most, for speaking me and body. Asking the magic consciousness before people do that? This is what men go to make a share that she didn't win him. Asking the magic consciousness before people making decisions. Celebrating Christmas every day. Asking the magic consciousness before people figure than moments. Maybe this is what ever in studying is no. Before people do that previously, have exactly this into the magic of there. This is the news own dreams in putting the moments. Maybe this is the own dreams in putting the moments. Because the people do is whatever the works do. This is the biggest to feel to purchase the consciousness is because it's where to be an institution. Though was every different particular is making the biggest breath. The people do that feel that she didn't condition before the moments. The people do it generally with every different words to be tasked the moment. Before the people do that feel that she didn't condition before the moments. This is the own dreams need before the moments. Maybe this is the new anything, which makes it everything the safe under their people. The people do it new self before people do that feel. The people do that feels the people that she didn't condition before. The people do that feels the people where the own dreams need before the moments. The people do that feels the people of here more that feels everything the people against the moments. The people do that feel that she didn't condition before. But people do that feels the people of here feels that she didn't condition before. The people do that feels the people do that feels if the people do that people against the moments. But people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that people. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. People do that feels the people do that feels. Maybe this is the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. And showed like the animals living that are related influence. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. The animals living that are stretched with straight but through the years. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels. The people do that feels the people do that feels the people do that feels. Celebrating Christmas every year with decorations and gifts. Telling the hash-slinging slasher story to scare people. These repeated actions make the mythology stronger. They keep it alive and relevant. They pass it to new generations of kids. Without rituals, beliefs fade over time and disappear. But rituals keep them strong, keep them real, keep them present in daily life. The stories serve as scripture and sacred texts. The TV show about Mermaid Man's adventures. the legend of the hash-slinging slasher, the tales of Neptune's power and judgment, the accounts of time travel to the future. These stories keep the mythology in detail. They teach it to kids. They spread it to new citizens. People learn how the world actually works through stories. Stories are easier to remember than abstract rules. Stories stick in minds. They get retold generation after generation. They last across time. The community bonds through shared mythology deeply. Everyone in Bikini Bottom knows these exact stories. Everyone knows about Neptune and fears his judgment. Everyone fears the Flying Dutchman and his curses. Everyone worships Mermaid Man as a hero. Everyone loves Krabby Patties as sacred food. This shared knowledge makes community identity. They're Bikini Bottom citizens. They share this specific mythology. This makes them a real community, instead of just random individuals living near each other in location. The mythology explains things science can't answer. Why do jellyfish behave so weirdly sometimes? The Spongehenge story explains it through the musical holes. How does time actually work? Time travel episodes explain it through machines and freezing. Where do people go when they die? The Flying Dutchman explains it through ghosthood and serving. What makes Krabby Patties so special? The Sacred Formula explains it through secret knowledge. Why do holidays work and appear? Belief makes them through collective faith. Mythology fills all the gaps in understanding. It gives answers when science totally fails. This is what mythology has always done throughout history. The mythology also gives constant moral lessons for citizens. Neptune shows that even gods can make mistakes and must fix them. The Flying Dutchman shows that scaring people keeps your existence. Mermaid Man shows that even heroes age and become weak. The Magic Conch shows that blind following can sometimes work. Christmas shows that belief makes physical reality. The Krabby Patty shows that secrecy makes sacredness. These aren't just fun stories. They're deep lessons about how to live right, how to act morally, what to value in life. Mythology teaches morality through engaging story. The existence of multiple timelines and alternates makes the mythology way richer. If multiple realities exist at the same time, then every possibility is real somewhere. Every version of events happened in some timeline. Every choice makes a branch. This makes the mythology comprehensive and complete. It doesn't exclude anything. Every contradictory story can be true in different timelines. This explains all things that don't match, while saying everything is real. The fact time has a clear ending gives urgency to life. The white void shows that everything ends eventually no matter what. This means life now actually matters. Choices matter. What you do matters, because eventually it all ends in nothingness. This is deep life wisdom. Live well because time is limited. This makes the mythology deep thinking instead of just fantasy fun. The mythology is still actively growing and changing. New episodes add new elements all the time. New characters with new powers. New rules for how things work. New stories and legends. The mythology isn't stuck and dead and complete. It's alive, it's growing, it's changing. Future generations will add to it. This makes it exactly like living religions in the real world. They grow over centuries. They change with culture. They adapt to new circumstances, while keeping core principles that don't change. Different elements actively support each other in the system. The Krabby Patty's sacredness is supported by ritual preparation. Neptune's authority is supported by his visible displays of power. The Flying Dutchman's job is supported by consistent ghost rules. Mermaid Man's legend is supported by kept stories. Everything connects to everything else. Everything supports everything else. This makes a super stable system that's hard to break. The mythology gives comfort in an uncertain, scary world. When faced with death, the Flying Dutchman gives clear answers about what happens. When faced with unfairness, Neptune gives divine judgment to punish wrongdoers. When faced with meaninglessness, Mermaid Man gives heroic ideals to want to reach. When faced with chaos, rituals give order and structure. The mythology addresses all major life fears that people face. Looking at totally everything together shows Bikini Bottom has a complete working mythology. It has gods who rule. It has death spirits who judge. It has heroes who inspire. It has legends that teach. It has sacred objects with power. It has rituals that keep order. It has stories that keep knowledge. It has moral lessons that guide behavior. It has spiritual geography with different places. It has consistent rules that control everything. It has beliefs that make physical reality. All these elements work together smoothly, making one clear system. This isn't random supernatural stuff happening for comedy. This is carefully organized mythology, working exactly like real-world religions. Bikini Bottom has a complete spiritual system underneath its whole reality. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.